He's hoping to build support. Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden is due in the Deep South at this hour, trying to lay the foundation for plans Republicans have criticized as too expensive and too broad. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has more live.
Lisa, the backdrop for the president's infrastructure pitch, the decades-old Calcasieu River Bridge in the red state of Louisiana. The $2.3 trillion American Jobs Plan would be offset in part by higher taxes on corporations. President Biden has also proposed spending $1.8 trillion on human infrastructure, including free community college and preschool for 3- and 4-year-olds. That package would be paid for by higher taxes on the wealthiest Americans. The White House is negotiating with Republicans who have offered up a slimmed-down infrastructure proposal. Lisa?
Thanks, Rachel. The administration also wants to conserve more public lands and waters, 30% by the year 2030, calling in a new report for a decade-long effort to support voluntary conservation and restoration efforts in public, private, and tribal areas. U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin and the Joint Chiefs Chairman, General Mark Milley, are set to hold their first joint briefing with reporters later this hour as a full U.S. draw from Afghanistan continues. One former defense chief coming out against the decision.
Bob Gates says it's a mistake to pull the remaining 2,500 U.S. troops out of Afghanistan.
I probably would have taken the same position as General Austin or as Secretary Austin and the Joint Chiefs of Staff in recommending that we keep our small contingent there. But it was a very tough decision.
The former defense secretary under Presidents Bush and Obama spoke to Bret Baier on Special Report Wednesday night. Gates also said it was a disgrace to abandon thousands of Afghan interpreters who helped the U.S. military will be targets when they leave.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. America is listening to Fox News.
Want the truth on why I wake up looking so darn awesome? I take care of my skin. Not just my face, but more intimate skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tena Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable to care for your intimate skin, day or night. Tena Intimates are now endorsed by the Skin Health Alliance. Visit tenasample.com for your free sample. Kind to skin, protects like Tena.
Who's really running Joe Biden's White House? The First Lady? Kamala Harris? Maybe Barack Obama. Now, Newsmax's Greg Kelly asks the tough questions. Watch Greg Kelly tonight at 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern and see his series, Who's Really in Charge? Newsmax TV is on all major cable systems. If you don't get it, tell your cable operator you want Newsmax. Or download the free Newsmax app on your phone and start watching right away. Millions are watching Newsmax. So should you.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A mix of clouds and sunshine, a couple of scattered showers, and a couple of non-severe thunderstorms this afternoon. Fairly limited rain and fairly fast. 60s, though, for highs. Tonight, clear. Windy this evening, 42. Friday, lots of sunshine, 69. Saturday and Sunday, scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms and cool, 62 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Annie Frey is having a baby, and you can get in our office pool. Just go to 971talk.com/contests and pick the birthday, time of birth, weight, and length. The closest guest will win a spa sampler package, including your choice of massage, facial, manicure, and more. So pick your date and try to win the Annie Frey Baby Pool. With prizes from New Season Spa and Salon. Picks can be entered anytime at 971talk.com/contests.
It's been great going back to restaurants again, hasn't it? This is Ryan Wiggins. I kind of never stopped going to restaurants. I guess they stopped me because so many of them were closed for so long. But now we're open again. And so when was the last time, let me ask you this, that you went to a restaurant that was owned by a family in this area? Maybe a long time because we haven't been to a lot of restaurants at all lately collectively. But there just aren't a lot of restaurants like that. You know that if a restaurant has been family owned for generations, and just like Andrea's has since 1978, that it's a good restaurant, not just because it's local, but because it's been around for that long. You know that it's good. You know that it's a part of the community, just like Andrea's is over in Fairview Heights and O'Fallon, Illinois. So if you've never been there, maybe you're a Missouri resident and you've never made the trip, it's worth the trip. But especially if you live in Illinois, it's in your backyard. Andrea's restaurant is world famous because of Andrea's steak sauce, which goes out all over the world, right here from St. Louis. Pick up a bottle while you're at the restaurant. They do have their own house salad dressing, which is fantastic too. And that's a little harder to find in the grocery stores. So head to the restaurant this weekend, tonight, whatever it is, Andreas.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Need to know what it takes for a home loan to fit your budget and your family? Rocket can. When you need an expert to help navigate the home loan process, Rocket can.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you. Anytime, anywhere. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk wherever you go. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
You know, there's a lot of disagreements during this COVID era. Is the pandemic over and it's run its course, or are we in the bottom of the sixth when it comes to Anthony Fauci's assessment of this? Should people who've been vaccinated still have to wear masks? Should they not? Should schools be open? Should schools not be open? Should there still be limits on how many people can be in a restaurant or not? Okay, so there's a lot of debates and arguments over that. But can we all agree on one thing? Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, vaxxer, anti-vaxxer. Can we all agree you should still take a shower?
Yes. Apparently not.
Yeah.
Yes.
By the way, I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey today. It's 12:09. New York Times. I saw this article in New York Times. The pandemic has changed their shower habits. How about yours? That's the New York Times.
Yeah.
And they interviewed a bunch of environmentalists and like social, sociology professors.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all saying, well, this is a serious question. It's environmentally friendly. And, if you take too many showers, it can dry out your skin. And, we didn't even really start taking daily showers until the late 1800s. And they're going through all of this like environmental nonsense, and they're treating this like a legitimate news story. And part of it is I'm amazed at how many people got a call from a reporter and would disclose as much personal hygiene information for a news article in the New York Times as they have.
Weird.
Now, to be weird. Like, for instance, here's part of the story. Parents have complained that their teenage children are foregoing daily showers. Newsflash, teenage children forget showers a lot before or after a pandemic. And after the British media reported on a YouGov survey that showed 17% of Britons had abandoned daily showers during the pandemic, many people on Twitter said they had done the same, because Twitter's where you go for good advice.
Sure.
Right. And let's see here. What was one here? There was one that I wrote. Oh, here it is. They quoted, let's see here. What's her name? Harper. Her name was Harper. And she said, Ms. Harper, who still uses deodorant and does a daily wash of, quote, the parts that need to be done at the sink. She said she was confident she was not offending anyone. Her 22-year-old daughter, who is very devout about bathing and showers twice a day, has not made any comments.
Twice a day?
Yeah. The daughter does twice a day. The daughter has not commented on her new hygiene habit, nor have the children at her school where she teaches. Okay, first of all, why are you telling a complete stranger reporter that? I mean,
listen, this is my daily routine. You called, and now I'm going to give you the answer.
Right, exactly. There is an environmentalist and writer in London. His name is, I'm sure that this person is Scottish or Irish. The name is Donna Cocked McCarthy. That sounds very Irish or Scottish to me. Again, described as an environmentalist and writer in London, said he grew up taking weekly baths.
Oh.
So to him, this is just getting back to nature. He's quoted as saying, we had a bath once a week and we washed under the sink for the rest of the week, under our armpits and our privates, and that was it. And this is considered an expert source for the story.
I have to say, go ahead, Ryan.
I'm with the New York Times. Can I get your social security number and bank routing number?
Yes.
I don't need your bank account number. This is
Full name.
This is public info, but
right.
First, middle, last.
I mean, it's even though, and I've been doing a lot of work from home myself.
Mm-hmm.
The times when, for instance, I'll tell you the last few times I filled in on KMOX, our sister station, I did it from my home studio. I always like to come in the studio, like being in the studio here. I do some of my daily shows in mid-Missouri from my home studio. Some of I do from the Columbia or Jefferson City studios. So I get that, a lot of people are working from home a lot more, but to me, I don't want the funk in the house. So I'm like, to me, it's almost more important to shower.
I have a couple of different ways of thinking about this. One, okay, ladies are not supposed to wash their hair every day. You
Sure.
wash the rest of yourself in the shower.
Sure.
But ladies are only supposed to wash their hair, especially if it's longer, twice, 3 times a week if it's really getting oily. But the rest of your body, you wash. So if they were to make a study saying, like, do you wash your hair once or twice a week? I could get that, and I could get behind that, especially for ladies. But the people that I know that have been working from home, I mean, it is crazy the turn of events that have taken place. And I don't blame anyone. If you're working from home, Ryan, I hope you're not stinky today. If
you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't
That's
know,
right.
I won't tell.
But I'm judging you from afar, from the StreamYard. There are so many people that I know, men and women, that are like, my routine, from my clothing to my appearance to the makeup to the brushing of the hair to the showers, everything has changed since I've been working from home every single day.
I shave less.
Got the beard going.
I get that.
Well, I mean, I've worn a beard for a long time, but I don't don't keep it as neat and tidy as I used to. I mean, instead of shaving around every other day, to leave the beard looking distinct, I'll do it.
Shape it.
Shape it. I'll basically wait until I look in the mirror and go, oh yeah, shoot, okay, I need to not look like a Grizzly Adams here. And so that's the only thing I'll say that changed, but not the showers. I mean, I'm curious. 314-241-9797. Do you know anybody who has changed their bathing habits because of COVID-19? We've changed a lot of habits. I don't remember
I get shaving, and I get women shaving. I get, women not doing makeup, everybody dressing down a little bit more in more comfortable clothes. I get all of those things. They all make sense. Showering, though, I believe what this article is saying. I believe that there are probably 17-20% maybe of Americans that, if you're at home, are showering less. But I personally don't know how you would do that. My day doesn't feel like it started until I've taken a shower. A lot of people shower at night, though. So if you're one of those people,
I hate
maybe it
showering in the
doesn't feel
morning.
as bad to not do it. But
That's my husband says the same thing. He's like, I open up my eyes and I get in the shower. Like that is how I start the day off, no matter what. But I am a night shower person.
I'm good with either one as long as you are a showering
Yes, as long as you bathe.
I mean, I'm curious to hear from somebody who says, no, I don't shower as much every day. Pfft, are you kidding me? I want to know your perspective on the word, because this article basically tried to turn it into a pseudo environmentalism thing, because they're saying, a typical shower takes this many gallons of water, and soap does this. Well, you know what soap does? Soap and that many gallons of water, it keeps you from stinking. Yeah. And to me, there's a trade-off here. I'm good with that.
Of course, though, it has to be about the environment. Like, of course, it can't just be some people are totally fine with being a little bit stinky and some people aren't. Like, it has to be about the environment, go green, probably climate change is thrown in there somewhere.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a second.
No.
So I'm not.
No.
I'm not exactly an environmental, with trash and recycling. I'm roll my eyes at a lot of that stuff, because statistically speaking, with trash, we've got so much more room in America to take care of people's trash in landfills and the methane and everything. Like, we're fine on that stuff. So avoiding trash, that's not my issue. Water, I do think kind of is important. And if this is a natural byproduct of the pandemic, people staying home, that's fine. I'm not going to tell people not to shower to save the environment. But the way that we get clean water in the United States is usually from tapping groundwater. And that's also the purification process. And we're using a little bit more water than we can, the reservoirs go down faster because we're using more than it's naturally filling up. Just generally speaking, this has been going on for probably a decade. So if that's a natural byproduct, I'm actually kind of okay with it. So take that, Katie.
You know what? Penny says, I work every day. I shower every night. Nothing has changed for me. So boom, roasted on you, Ryan.
I love how this article ends, though. They decided to get the other perspective. And so they interviewed Nina Arthur, who owns Nina's Hair Care in Flint, Michigan. So you've got all the environmentalists in London and the professor in New York, and then Nina, who owns a hair shop in Flint, Michigan. And her quote, nope, I'm not that woman when it comes to not showering. All right, let's see here. Let's go with Phil here. Hey, Phil, you're up first on this one. Are you taking fewer showers or bathing less, or anybody in your house doing that because you're stuck at home from the COVID-19 shutdowns?
Absolutely not. Come on, man. I'm going to use Joe Biden's line. Come on, man. You just stink up the house. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I'm not going to live with somebody that's going to stink up my house. But here's another thing. If you're supposed to wash your hands frequently all the time, why would you not have to wash your body frequently?
I think that's hopefully you're not touching everything with other parts of your body that you touch your hands with your hands all the time.
Well, how do you avoid that? I'm a male. How do you avoid not touching other parts of your body throughout the day? I mean, I get if you're not leaving the house, I kind of get it, but come on.
Yeah.
No,
the bottom line is,
I don't want them stink. Ain't nobody stinking up my house. Sorry, Stinky, get out.
I'm with you on that, Phil. Appreciate that. We're at least agreed on the shower thing there. I don't want to know about the rest of it.
With your feet, then you should probably wash your feet
That's
too.
true. Yeah. Yeah, precisely. I just could not believe that. I guess, I was kind of surprised when I saw the headline. And then I got to thinking about it. I'm like, I wonder if there are people who are like closet non-showers now. They want to stay in their sweatpants for 3 or 4 days at a time. And I just can't think of anybody that I know that would actually do that. And I'm a baseball player. Not even the baseball players would do that, I don't think. And we're not known to be the classiest group of people around. We're ball players. But I'm like, I know there are people out there doing it, but they're estimating 15 to 20% of people are showering less, and then to have a article to try to make it into an environmentally conscious thing. No, it's not virtuous. Take a bath. You smell. All right, just ahead here. Did you hear about this? One of the jurors in the Derek Chauvin case. Turns out that he was an activist who wore a T-shirt that could put the trial in jeopardy. We're going to talk to Larry Klayman from Freedom Watch just ahead. Interesting case. Could a hat and a T-shirt actually result in an appeal of these convictions? That is not as unreasonable as it sounds. We'll get to that just ahead. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
I busted up my knee in Afghanistan, jumping out of a helicopter. I flew back to the States for surgery. I pushed myself to the max and busted it up again. I was told a medical discharge was an option. Then I had surgery at Mizzou BioJoint Center.
To see if MU Healthcare's Mizzou BioJoint Center is right for you, visit biojoint.com.
Hey, this is Ryan Wiggins. I feel kind of dumb when I say things like, hey, if you don't like your dentist, because honestly, how strong of an opinion do you have about your dentist? Your relationship exists probably insofar as, when can I find an appointment? Is it convenient for me? How do I basically just get this done, have a good experience, and then not think about it? That's actually my appeal to you with Fountains Family Dentistry in Fairview Heights, Illinois. I could tell you they're state of the art and they're the nicest people and they're going to give you the greatest care. They are going to do those things. But honestly, they just make it easy because they have hours that are flexible to your schedule. You can call them, put an appointment on the schedule for next month or 4 months from now, whatever, so that you know you have it. That's the nice thing about Fountains Family Dentistry is that they help you by, sending you a text a week before your appointment, sending you a text the day before, whatever, stuff like that. That's just convenient, especially if you're in the Metro East. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, and you can book an appointment anytime by calling them or go to fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
Have you noticed lately all the mom and pop home buyers popping up everywhere? They all say the same thing, how they'll buy any house in any condition for cash and close quickly. So who should you trust? How about America's #1 home buyer, HomeVestors, also known as the We Buy Ugly Houses people. We've purchased over 95,000 houses, ugly or not, since 1996. We can make you an all-cash offer on the spot for your house that you can count on. Call 800-44-BUYER or go to WeBuyUglyHouses.com. Each franchise office is independently owned and operated.
Everybody wants the economy to grow, right? But how do you feel about officials in effect giving your tax money to developers for their private projects? In the past 15 years, the city of St. Louis alone has diverted $709 million to developers in tax subsidies or abatements. That was money that would have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. Even worse, numerous studies around the country show these kinds of subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. There's nothing wrong with developers wanting to build new shopping centers or company headquarters, but why should they get tax subsidies to do so? If it's a good business idea, great, but let them assume the risks as well as any possible rewards. It's time to reform economic development subsidies in Missouri. Learn more in our 2021 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds. And we feel great.
Join Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar and lose the weight or stop smoking for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. Because of coronavirus, seminar now online, live Thursday, May 13th or Saturday, May 15th for the St. Louis area. Details at markpatrickseminars.com.
Drafty old windows make your home uncomfortable and really drive up energy bills. The solution? Modern, gorgeous Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows installed by Lakeside, the exclusive Infinity Windows dealer in St. Louis. Custom fit, energy efficient Infinity by Marvin windows are 8 times stronger than vinyl. They block the cold and keep your home cozy and bright. Request a free windows consultation from Lakeside Renovation and Design at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. You'll love your home all over again.
Where the world, the country, and the community converge.
We're covering it all. We're covering the national stuff. We're covering the local stuff. We're covering what's happening in Jeff City. And that's important.
97.1 FM Talk. Free and fair.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. Wonder this time where she's gone.
Still ahead here. We'll talk about this in about 15 or 20 minutes. Looks like the movie Footloose is kind of being lived out in Washington, D.C. Talk about more COVID-19 stupidity. Oh, my goodness. The mayor has literally written an edict to disallow dancing. Dancing.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
But only if it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
Like just normal dancing is fine, but if you start to jiggle like down below your waist, it's going to become a problem for the mayor.
So is it about COVID or is it about possibly entertaining impure thoughts?
It's the latter, Mike.
Yeah,
we know that.
I grew up Baptist. That's what I was told. That's to why this day I cannot dance because I grew up being told that dancing was sinful. So when I finally figured out that it's not.
Wait, really?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
What?
Oh, I grew up a Baptist preacher's kid.
And they were like, no dancing.
No dancing. No, when the movie Footloose came out, I was in high school. And everybody like came to me and they're like, have you seen the movie Footloose? I'm like, no, I can't go to movies because that was sinful too.
What?
No dancing period or no dancing with other people?
No dancing. No dancing. And they're like, that's you, that's you. And so finally I watched the movie Footloose when it came out on VHS, way back when. I'm like, oh wow, that is like, now I don't believe that now. And I think a lot of the old school, Baptists have kind of abandoned that, but no, I actually grew up with that. So, that's why I get to make that joke because that's literally what I grew up being taught in like youth group and Sunday school.
Wow.
And my
That's
dad
not
was
that old. I was in a college group that was, it wasn't a Baptist group, but I think that had to have like a sponsor and a Baptist church was the sponsor of the college group. And so we had to like really do a lot to make dances happen because we had to go around our own sponsor to make these events work.
Now, I'm pretty sure that a whole lot of Baptists have kind of abandoned that over the last 40 years, but that's actually where my background was growing up on that. And no, I don't think that at all anymore. So anyway, it's a 12:28. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey today. So just ahead, basically what's happening is the mayor of Washington, D.C. is like banning dancing, including at like weddings and things like that. So that's not permitted as well. Still ahead right after the news at the top of the hour. Our good friend Tyrus is going to be here. We've got celebrities running for office again, and not just California, now possibly in Texas. Is this something that we need to embrace? I mean, Donald Trump was a celebrity before he was, TV star and all that kind of stuff, reality star before he was president. Ronald Reagan was a celebrity before he ran for governor, but he didn't run for president until he'd been the governor. So, is this something that we need to say, whatever it takes to get elected? Or at some point, do we just kind of go, enough's enough. Let's get some serious people in there in order to fix a lot of the problems that we've got. Also, next hour, Missouri State House of Representatives. You can call this the Sam Page bill because they are looking to pass a law that would restrict what local health orders are allowed to do and for how long. And make no mistake, this is targeting Sam Page. I mean, it would also affect some other areas around the state. You know, Kansas City has announced that they are probably going to be done with all of their face mask requirements included by next month. So they're easing out of them. Boone County is not going to renew most of their requirements as well, but there are a lot of places around the state that just went completely overboard with these requirements. And Sam Page is the worst. I mean, he's without a doubt the worst in the state. Matter of fact, I was telling you during the commercial break, Katie, that some friends of mine want to meet me and Rachel out for dinner tonight. And so he messaged me, goes, "Hey, where you want to go? There's this restaurant near you. We can come out your way this time if you want." And I said, "No, let's go somewhere outside of Sam Page land. I'm in Richmond Heights." I said, I'll meet you up in St. Charles County. So we're gonna meet up in St. Charles. Just a matter of principle at this point. You know, he didn't do anything to graciously allow us to have more people in a restaurant. You know, I am now, not only do I have do I have the antibodies for COVID-19, I've got both vaccination shots, which we'll talk about a little bit later. That was a rough go when I got the second one. But if they want to quote unquote follow the science, zero reason whatsoever that I should be complying with any of these stupid rules. And it's not his place to do it in the first place. So you're saying that, you know, given the choice, if a group of your friends were like, "Hey, let's go to St. Louis County, let's go to St. Louis City, let's grab a bite to eat down there," you're going to say, why do that? Yeah, let's go up to St. Charles County. Or I will tell you that, and I won't say the names on the air, but there's a couple places I know that just don't give a rip what Sam Page thinks. And so there are some business I've been patronizing in St. Louis County that have basically just flipped Sam Page the bird, and I've got a lot of respect for that.
Do you think a lot of folks now, I know for a while, because St. Charles County has been operating differently,
right?
Basically the entire pandemic.
Yeah, they basically just said, we're going to let you be responsible for yourself.
So do you think that a lot of people are going to kind of do what you're doing and say, screw this? Mm-hmm. We don't have to dine in St. Louis. We've been vaccinated. Yeah. We are fully vaccinated. The mask will wear optionally. Yeah. But if we can go somewhere where we don't have to wear a mask because we are vaccinated and because we feel comfortable now, that's what we're going to be doing.
I think so, Ryan. I mean, what are you hearing? I mean, that's what I mean, because so many places around, you know, St. Louis County, I mean, you're minutes away from St. Charles County or somewhere else.
What are the rules in St. Charles County, or not in the St. Louis County right now for restaurants?
You're supposed to wear a mask until you get to your table, and anytime you get up from your table. But now they're saying, well, now you can have, I think it's full capacity that you can have now, because for the longest time, you could only have half. And before that, you can only have a quarter. So basically, you can assume all your operating costs, but you're only allowed to do business with a certain number of the people who want to actually buy from you. So it's still the mask mandate. And the tables are supposed to be X number of feet apart still, which means that you can't have full capacity if you've got to spread the tables out more.
See, I kind of think the opposite, that we should be going to those restaurants that have been persecuted the worst throughout this whole thing. I mean, that's the whole state of Illinois for me. So it's totally. It's not like I'm having to choose between where I go. Everywhere I go has been under the same edicts. But, you know, you have the choice between going to somewhere that's been open the whole time versus a bunch of restaurants that have kind of had to manage through this. And, you know, if they voted for Sam Page, that's one thing, right? Because they're voting for their own obsolescence. But if they didn't, and they're having to sort of manage under his thumb, I would think we'd almost want to support them more.
I can tell you the ones that have spoken out and pushed back against Sam Page, I have made it a point to go buy something from them. The ones that were vocal about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what the weird thing is about this whole thing, because Illinois included in this, is that no matter what, if you decided to push back, but you did it quietly, nobody ever came after you. Right. Nowhere. Yeah. Whether it was the county, whether it was Illinois, anywhere that had these rules, if you just did your thing and catered to your customers and didn't advertise it and didn't make it a big stink, like, well, we're gonna show you. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever ever came after those people. It was the ones that did make it a big deal. And so I really respect those people because they have put their livelihood on the line against the government.
Yeah.
I mean, 1984, hello.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I mean, there was a restaurant that I know, and they stayed open when Sam Page ordered them closed. I mean, when he said you could only do carry out and pick up, they kept the dining room open. Now they just moved people to the back where you weren't obviously visible. They were careful. It was a lot of regulars. But they told me, I asked the owner about it. I said, I respect the heck out of this. And he said, well, even with these coming government programs, we're going to go out of business. And under his orders, this will run us out of business. He said, so I've got a choice. I can at least try to stay in business, staying under the radar, or I can obey what he says and go out of business either way. If they come and shut us down, well, okay, I was going out of business anyway. And they did survive in large part because they disobeyed Sam Page's order. And I've got a lot of respect for that. That's in the county. I made it a point to buy from there quite a bit. So I have bought from some in the county, but I'm also wanting to reward the areas that did the right thing and let people live their lives and be responsible for themselves and make their choices.
It's very sad. These are usually not rebel people that are having to make these decisions. These are just, dollars and cents, ones and zeros, just trying to make it work. And they're having to fight their own government to do so.
Exactly. All right. Joining me right now, we've got Larry Klayman. He's a legal analyst and the chairman of Freedom Watch. And Larry, appreciate you being on the program here. It may surprise people to find out in a case as high profile as the Derek Chauvin convictions that a t-shirt and a hat may be something really crucial to the appeals process. Can you make sense of all that?
Well, it is. There should be, and there was a motion for retrial that was filed. In other words, declare it a mistrial and retry it. In addition to what went on with regard to the prejudicial publicity of Maxine Waters and the President of the United States, the so-called President Joe Biden, and others. But don't count on it happening. The legal system has become so corrupt. And these people fear for their lives. The judges fear for their lives in terms of what goes on in Minnesota and throughout this country with the great racial divide that's been created by the left. That I know from experience, and that's why I wrote my book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry, that the legal profession has become very, very corrupt. And I don't suspect that Derek Chauvin is going to get justice with a new trial.
And what I was bringing up is that there was a picture of one of the jurors who went to a rally that Al Sharpton put together back in August, I believe it was, before he was called to be on the jury. And he actually wore a T-shirt that had the saying, "Get your knee off our necks, Black Lives Matter." But in the questionnaire, he said, "No, I can be objective. I know I've heard stuff about this on the news, but I don't know the case intimately." And so now you've got a defense who says, wait a minute. What do you mean you could be objective? You went to a rally and marched at a rally that was organized. And matter of fact, some members of George Floyd's family, as I understand it, spoke at the rally. So could that be some kind of prosecutorial, not really prosecutorial, but maybe some sort of mistrial because the jury pool was tainted because somebody who participated in activism related to this case got on the jury?
100%. It's a new trial. This was, in effect, a homicide trial. It was a murder trial. Mm-hmm. And it's unlike in some states, you don't need a unanimous jury to get a verdict in a civil case. But this is a criminal case, so you need all the jurors to agree. And when you have one juror that's been disqualified because of the bias, that knocks out the ruling. But that's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen because of the politics, because of the dynamics, because of the fact that these judges, and I wrote about it. I know I'm pushing my book, but I want people to read it because I've been a lawyer for 44 years, trial lawyer, is that system and the judges have become so politicized that in cases like this, there is no justice anymore. And so I want to be a realist about it, but it's an outrage. And it's why we do need to wage a peaceful and legal revolution. And it's why I wrote about that, taking our legal system back with citizens' grand juries and holding these people accountable. Because this is the kind of injustice that goes on a routine basis. I've lived it, and I wrote about it in my book, It Takes a Revolution.
Larry Klayman, legal analyst and current chairman at Freedom Watch. When you talk about citizens' grand juries, I mean, is this stuff that is in the Constitution that we just haven't ever used, so nobody knows about it? Or are you talking about, changing things from the ground up in ways that we've never seen before?
It is in our Constitution, not explicitly. But in 1992, the late Justice Scalia, writing the majority opinion for the Supreme Court in a case styled United States versus Williams, you can Google it, ruled on behalf of all the justices that the grand jury does not belong to the three branches of government. It belongs to the American people. And in the Old West in particular, before there was a Justice Department, which came into effect on July 1st, 1870, the American people would mete out justice themselves. Wyatt Earp is a good example of that, a U.S. Marshal. And he did it, of course, in terms of law enforcement at the ground level. But we have the right to do this. And in fact, some states actually provide for citizens' grand juries. It's just that they're overseen by a judge or a court. But there's no requirement that be the case. And we're conducting citizens' grand juries today. You can go to freedomwatchusa.org and see it. We put them up after we hold them. This morning we had one. We've indicted Robert Mueller. We've indicted Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, his brother Frank, for a massive racketeering bribery scheme from Ukraine, Russia, and China. And we have that right. And we have the right to try them. We have the right to seek their convictions. We even have the right for citizens' arrest. Even, I'm not advocating to do anything forceful, or violent. But even in California, the most leftist of all states, there's a statute which says that if you know of someone committing a felony or observe it, you have the right as a citizen to arrest them and to turn them over to law enforcement. So after we convict these people, we're going to petition law enforcement to enforce it. And I suspect there are sheriffs and others in the country that will do it. People have reached a level where they've lost complete faith in government. That's what you saw on January 6th. It was not just a bunch of criminals. There were a few on either side. But most of those people that went to that Capitol, it was the final straw for them when the President Trump at the time could not even get a hearing on election irregularities, piled on the fact that no one in Washington, D.C. has been held accountable at a high level for any alleged crime or scandal in my lifetime. And I'm going to be 70 in July. I hope I look younger than that. But the American people are at the end. And Jefferson predicted it. I wrote about it in my book. He said, because the federal judiciary in particular, and the state judiciary is not much different, is unelected, unaccountable to the people, that every 20 years or so, the blood of patriots and tyrants would be shed again, adding what's a few thousand dead to preserve the tree of liberty. He didn't want to see anybody dead. He didn't want to see anybody hurt. Neither do I. Don't advocate that. But he said this will be the inevitable result if we don't have a justice system that stands in the stead for the American people. And he saw it coming. With federal judges, he said it's not going to happen because they're unelected, unaccountable to the people. They will pursue their own interests rather than the interests of the people because they cannot be held accountable. And that's the kind of thing that needs to be. We have a Third Continental Congress that I'm holding, and you're invited on July 5th and 6th in Philadelphia, across from Independence Hall at the Visitor Center, the birthplace of liberty. And we're going to start the discussion, not just on creating a new government, but putting things in the Constitution that will clean up the mess that we're in now. I mean, federal judges should not be appointed. And that happens with political campaign contributions and sometimes out-and-out bribes. They are not the best and the brightest. We need a system to elect them rather than appoint them. And we need to have an electoral system for our representatives that isn't based on fraud and election irregularities like we saw in 2020. These are the kinds of things that we can do. And also insert into the Constitution a cause of action or the ability to bring a case for discrimination, not just on race, religion, ethnicity, but also a national origin, but also on the basis of discrimination on the basis of ideological belief, which is what we're seeing today with big tech and the media.
All right. Larry Klayman from Freedom Watch. The book is called It Takes a Revolution. Forget the scandal forget the scandal industry. Larry, appreciate the perspective. I'm sure it raised a lot of eyebrows, which is, I guess, what talk radio is supposed to do. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank God for talk radio.
All right. Thanks,
brother. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me say my piece.
You got it. That's Larry Klayman. Boy, I've got some thoughts about that we'll get to just ahead. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's gone.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
No sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Get guaranteed hours year-round, up to $25,000 signing bonus, and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
After such an extraordinary year, it's time to celebrate the most extraordinary member of the family, Mom. Diamonds Direct invites you to join us as we say cheers to the mothers in our lives. For this Mother's Day, we've put together an exceptional collection of affordable and meaningful gifts for any budget. Birthstone rings, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. So cheers to you, Mom, for being such an incredible partner, for learning to be a teacher in the past year, for keeping the family healthy and safe, for always putting everything else first. This year, more than ever, she deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Diamonds Direct, that's our specialty. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come. Why not surprise her with a bigger diamond for her ring? Come let the experts at Diamonds Direct help you find that remarkable gift that says, cheers, Mom, for all your remarkable efforts over the last year. Diamonds Direct, Olive and 270 at City Place.
These days, nearly every small business owner is looking for ways to cut costs. And that's where Spectrum Business comes in. They have the best business internet and phone available at prices that are up to half off what you're paying now. That's right. You can cut costs for your business and get faster internet. Just what small businesses need right now. Call 833-919-2129 and get all the value with none of the nonsense. That's Spectrum Business. 833-919-2129.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for ThrottleNet, and if you need new IT service and you're a small business owner, or you just need better IT service, why wouldn't you check out ThrottleNet? They won Best in Customer Service from Small Business Monthly this past January, Best in Cybersecurity in Small Business Monthly in February. Ransomware has been huge, unfortunately, on the rise through the pandemic, and ThrottleNet has saved clients $2.6 million in ransom. So they protect against ransomware by providing a tool set that provides cybersecurity training for employees, identifying and quarantining an infected machine from the network, and the equipment will recover in less than 24 hours. Take advantage of a great offer. The first 30 days with ThrottleNet are free. There's no onboarding fees if you leave in the first 30 days. ThrottleNet will pay you $1,000 for your trouble. And after the first 30 days, no contracts, they're month to month. Check out ThrottleNet online. Use the 97.1 connection, throttlenet.com/971. Throttlenet.com/971. Get started today.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife, Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. Smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Stop smoking. Lose weight now without cravings, irritability, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. Join Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar and lose the weight or stop smoking for only $49.99 guaranteed, or your money back. Because of coronavirus, seminar now online live Thursday, May 13th or Saturday, May 15th for the St. Louis area. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
You've heard it before, and it's true. The easiest way to freshen up the look in your home or your business is with a new coat of paint. It's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and with CertaPro, it's even better. You don't have to do the work yourself. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. These are local painting crews in our area. They do business and residential, whether you need interior or exterior work. You can trust CertaPro to deliver top-notch results every time. That's why I've hired them time and time again. Your free estimate is just a couple of clicks away at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters.
This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Join the conversation digitally. Download the Odyssey app and tune into the #1 talk station in St. Louis at any time.
You can run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down.
God, that's a great
Go
song.
tell that long-tongued liar. Go and tell that.
Okay, so given the interview we just had, I haven't talked to Larry Klayman in years. It's probably been 10 years since I've interviewed Larry. By the way, it's 12:50. I'm Mike Ferguson. Can I just say that if you want to have your friends over for coffee and decide to have a citizen grand jury and indict somebody, can I just point out that has no legal standing whatsoever, and the cops are not going to run out and arrest the person that you just indicted in your living room, especially if you've indicted the president of the United States. Can I just point that? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just saying they're not going to do that. And if you want to put it to the test, invite your buddies over, go ahead and indict somebody, and then call the police and instruct them to go arrest them and see what happens.
Yeah, that was my question too. That's why I was asking about the Constitution. You know, he's not a nobody. I mean, he's the chairman of Freedom Watch. That's a legit organization. So,
well, at least
I mean, him doing something like that versus me and you sitting in our living room doing it probably is a little bit different too.
Right.
But it doesn't still seem to have any teeth behind it unless you can enforce it. And that's the question. Can you enforce it, and how?
And I also want to point out that when he was talking about we used to do it like this in the Wild West, well, the Wild West is one of the reasons we set up the laws that we did, so we don't have justice meted out the way that it was done before, because there wasn't a process that we have today, because we do have this thing called due process that we need to have, and to make sure we do that. And I mean, you want to have a Continental Congress, call it a Continental Congress on July 5th. That's great. Everybody needs a hobby. I'm glad you're doing something with your time that's educational, but you're not abolishing the government and setting up a new one with that, guys.
Mm-mm. The problem is we've gotten to a point where extreme solutions things might have to get pretty crazy for things to get right, and I'm not saying that what he just said is going to happen or even should happen, but when things start to break down, and he's talking about the whole legal system breaking down, I'm hoping that we're not there, and therefore solutions like this are not necessary yet, that we can salvage, that there's not so much corruption in our judicial branch, especially.
I don't argue that there isn't. I agree that there's corruption in our judicial branch.
I'm sure there is, but
yeah,
I just hope there's not so much that it's like, okay, that whole system is so tainted that you have to just scrap it. Because when you get to that point, I mean, you're talking about almost martial law,
right?
Which is in a way what he's talking about, just sort of in a civil manner.
Yeah, which is the opposite of law and order that we want. I mean, for those who are Trump supporters, isn't that one of the things that you say was his shining achievement, is the appointing of constitutional originalist judges up and down the federal judiciary system? I mean, that's how you enact change the right way. I got to tell you, like, Freedom Watch, that was a go-to source for many years. I'm stunned with what I just heard on that. I just wanted to make that clear so that nobody thinks Mike Ferguson is endorsing calling citizen grand juries and indicting people and having trials to convict people. And when he nonchalantly said, that's right, we've just indicted the president of the United States. No, you didn't. You got together with some of your friends and took a vote over coffee or beers or whatever it is that they're doing. I do think it's
interesting. It's food for thought because, one of the things, because when you have a conversation like that, some of the things you might go, oh, well, that'll never happen, or I completely disagree with it, or whatever it is. But then he did suggest that one of the ways to fix it, even within the system, I don't even know if this was his point, was to elect judges rather than have them appointed, so that you're avoiding the corruption and bribery that could be involved in that. Well, that's an interesting idea.
Sure,
that does happen in some parts of the country. I think in Illinois, we elect our whatever circuit. I don't know.
Missouri too. Yeah, we elect. There are many
is.
judges that we elect in Missouri as well.
Yeah, and so he made a good argument for that being the right way to do it. And I don't know whether that's right or not, but that was a good argument, and it was interesting to think about.
And it is an interesting debate. There's an argument for electing judges. There's an argument against electing judges. In Missouri, you elect. In many cases, you elect a judge and then you vote to either retain them or not retain them. And the idea is to keep that as far out of politics and campaigns as you possibly can. Matter of fact, on American Viewpoints this weekend, I've got some of the folks from Landmark Legal Foundation, and we're going to talk to them later this show today about some of the legal processes that we have. But one of them is how political the judiciary has become, and the argument on how to best address that is a fair debate. On that point, I agree with you, Ryan. He did have a couple good points. It just kind of got buried in we're going to organize our own Continental Convention after we're done meeting with some friends to indict people that we think are corrupt, not through a legal process. We're going to invent our own. That is basically saying that we're going to have our own version of anarchy with what we say is going to be law and order because what we say it is.
Yeah. That's why I asked him, is there constitutional merit to what you're saying?
Yeah.
And he backed it up. He backed up some of the things he was saying, not all of them, but that's why he asked the question. That's why you listen to the answer.
Yeah, no, precisely. Yeah. I'm all about getting, and I'm never afraid to have people on here, who say things that disagree with me. But I did note the first thing he said is, well, it's not explicitly in the Constitution.
Yeah.
So it's either in there or it's not in there. And the Constitution limits government. It's not there to limit us for the most part. But okay. All right. Our good friend Tyrus. Oh man, from Fox Nation. He's joining us just ahead. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Tell them that God's gonna cut them down.
Tired, lethargic, even after coffee? You not sleeping soundly?
Hi, I'm H.Y. Khan, Director of R&D at the DNA Company. Did you know that chronic lack of sleep weakens the immune system, increases your risk of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, forgetfulness, and even weight gain? The DNA Company has studied 22,000 genes, collected 500,000 genomic data points, and built the first genomic-based artificial intelligence platform to analyze what genetic factors are causing your poor sleep and how to fix it. That's right. Now, you can learn how to sleep like a baby, wake up refreshed, and feel energetic once again.
I'm Dr. Khan. I use DNA Company's DNA sleep analysis on my patients with incredible results.
Hi, this is Sarah. The DNA Company's analysis is amazing. Now my husband and I sleep like babies.
I couldn't sleep no matter what I did. I was miserable, no energy, tired. I got the DNA sleep analysis. Now I sleep like a baby and have so much energy. The DNA Company saved my life. This is Carl telling you the DNA analysis for sleep works.
Get your DNA sleep analysis at DNAsleep.com. Only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. That's DNAsleep.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Okay, it's almost opening time.
Got to email over photos of this season's line.
As a business owner, you've got a million things to think about.
Can't forget about that video conference later.
Dealing with second-rate cable internet shouldn't be one of them.
But I did switch to AT&T Internet for Business with integrated broadband and wireless connection, so I've got this.
AT&T Internet for Business is designed for business, with an integrated network that gives you 99.9% reliability, so you can focus on your business.
Really need to update the website and figure out whatever that was.
And even if the power suddenly goes out, or if a construction worker accidentally cuts your cable line, AT&T Internet Backup automatically has you covered, so your business stays one step ahead.
All right, it's go time.
Choose fast, highly reliable AT&T Internet for Business today and get a $100 AT&T Visa reward card. Go to att.com/business internet to take advantage of this offer today. The AT&T Visa reward card is issued by the Bancorp Bank pursuant to a license from Visa USA Inc. and can be used everywhere Visa debit cards are accepted in the United States, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. No cash access. The Bancorp Bank, member FDIC.
Critical thinking for critical times. You're listening to the number one talk KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
It's a time for changes in the Secret Service. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. They're not ruling it out after a year that saw unrest and a Capitol attack.
Secret Service Director James Murray says the Capitol riot on January 6th was abhorrent and an attack on democracy.
And we in law enforcement and public safety can't let it happen again.
Secret Service agents protected then Vice President Mike Pence during the breach. Murray says that event and others throughout this past year have provided lessons learned.
We found that we did not have enough of our folks trained in civil disturbance. We did not have enough equipment in that regard.
Murray told a House committee the Secret Service is also prioritizing additional resources for open source threat assessments, noting changes made to securing the inauguration 2 weeks after January 6th.
Fox's Jared Halpern. A shooting at a middle school in eastern Idaho leaves a custodian and 2 students injured and another student in custody.
In a statement, Jefferson School District Superintendent Chad Martin called the incident the worst nightmare they could experience. Parents were directed to a nearby high school where the middle schoolers were taken to pick up their children. Local and state agencies are investigating the shooting.
Fox's Gernal Scott. A bus full of school children was hijacked this morning in South Carolina, and an Army trainee is the suspect. Sheriff's officials say he was armed with a rifle from Fort Jackson and demanded a ride before letting the kids and the bus driver go. He was later captured without incident. No children were hurt. Defending the withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Our primary military objective at this point is a change of mission to conduct a safe, responsible, coordinated, and deliberate retrograde of U.S. forces from Afghanistan in good order.
Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley moments ago saying the U.S. has been reducing its presence there for more than a decade and calling this the final phase. America is listening to Fox News.
Want the truth on why I wake up looking so darn awesome? I take care of my skin. Not just my face, but more intimate skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tena Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable to care for your intimate skin, day or night. Tena Intimates are now endorsed by the Skin Health Alliance. Visit tenasample.com for your free sample. Kind to skin, protects like Tena.
Who's really running Joe Biden's White House? The First Lady? Kamala Harris? Maybe Barack Obama. Now, Newsmax's Greg Kelly asks the tough questions. Watch Greg Kelly tonight at 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern and see his series, Who's Really in Charge? Newsmax TV is on all major cable systems. If you don't get it, tell your cable operator you want Newsmax. Or download the free Newsmax app on your phone and start watching right away. Millions are watching Newsmax. So should you.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our latest cool front in the northwest flow triggering some scattered showers and some scattered non-severe thunderstorms this afternoon. A mix of clouds and sunshine otherwise. Scattered the key word here. But the front will cool our temperatures out of the 60s and into the upper 50s by late today. Tonight, a little hint of fall in the air. It's cold for May. 42 degrees Friday, lots of sunshine, 69. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
time to call Stewie at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440 to ask Stewie about a bagel loan for you. When you are taking out a loan for a home, if you're shopping right now for a home, obviously the real estate market is ridiculous. You want to be the most competitive buyer that you can be. A home loan with Stewart's American Mortgage at $200,000 or more under the bagel loan always gets the no lender fees, but he's added in no closing costs and no title fees. There's no cost at all to you. You're going to save a lot of money by getting a bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage, and he's the only one that allows you to use this process. He created his entire business model, Stewart's American Mortgage, around the idea that he was going to save you that money on all of those fees and all those closing costs. He is doing the bagel loan right now for $200,000 loans and up, so call him today and get the process started. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Stewart'sAMC.com. And MLS number 226715.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
So many people have discovered Foley Dental Group, and in a lost year that was 2020, a lot of people got away from the idea of going to the dentist. Not like it's really that hard to be like, oh, I've got, so many things to do and I just don't want to go to the dentist. You're finding excuses. I know you are. I can give you a million reasons to go to Foley Dental Group. First of all, they're going to make you incredibly comfortable. Second of all, and probably most important, they are fantastic at dentistry. When you go to Foley Dental Group, you are going to get the very best of care. That is first and foremost. With each and every experience that clients have when they go to Foley Dental Group, they're going to understand that your health care is their priority, and they work very, very hard to make sure that you're comfortable, that you have a positive experience that makes you want to tell people about Foley Dental Group as well. My dentist is at Foley Dental Group. My whole family goes to Foley Dental Group. And I know that if you are looking for a dentist, you will be very, very glad that you gave them a shot. Find them in Maryville, Illinois. Make an appointment today. They are accepting new patients. Make sure you mention the Annie Frey Show when you call 618-288-9670. That's 618-288-9670. Online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
This Mother's Day, let's honor the heroes close to our hearts. Visit Shane Company for a gift of fine jewelry or shop online and get fast 2-day shipping. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Dutch Boy's new Platinum Plus paint with Stain Shield technology has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more washable and stain resistant than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Superiority ranges from 24 to 50% depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy Paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
97.1 FM Talk is now streaming on the Odyssey app. It's your home for streaming The Mark Cox Show, Brian Kilmeade, The Annie Frey Show, and Mark Reardon on your phone. The Odyssey app for streaming 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rip my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show. So I'm looking at the YouTube feed that we've got going right now, which you can find through the Annie Frey Show social media pages. And Todd says, is it me or does Mike look like Jay Leno's younger burnout brother?
I didn't know how you'd take that.
Smoking a doobie, man.
I laughed at it.
I don't wanted the late night career.
That's right.
I just want to snack all night.
It's I'm not opposed to snacking all night. It's 1:08. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey. No, it's funny because I mean, for how many years was I on TV around the state? And you got to have the news anchor haircut, and I'm putting all kinds of junk in it the whole time. And I finished with TV over a year ago now, and I'm like, screw it, man. I'm tired of it. I'm just gonna look normal, look like me. And I'm a rock and roll guy at heart, and I grew out the hair a little bit. No, I get it. Todd's like, I mess with Mike. I know that was funny. I thought it was funny. All right. Hey, but you know who else is just doing him is next guest, Tyrus.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
And of course, you can hear him see him on Fox Nation all the time. Matter of fact, Tyrus, you were on with Harris Faulkner a little bit earlier, and the topic du jour is, well, we're back to celebrity candidates for politics. I mean, obviously, Caitlyn Jenner and Matthew McConaughey, but you can go back to now people talking about The Rock and Oprah Winfrey, and even Donald Trump was reality TV before he ran for president. Is this a good or bad thing, man?
Each case, first of all, keep it up, bro. Be who you're going to be, because it's a better you. I get on the wise guys. They're like, "Where's your suit?" I'm like, "I have a 22-inch neck and 26-inch guns, bro. This is what you're giving me." Einstein wore the same outfit every day, so I'm good with this. So it's always better when you're true to yourself. And speaking of that, that's the problem with celebrities. We never really know if we're going to get the character or we're going to get the actual person. So each case is different. I think Ronald Reagan was probably the first in terms of like being such. He was a world-renowned actor, and he got into politicians, and he did a great job. You never really confused him as you never call him the president actor, because he was a great president, and a lot of his policies and influence is still strong in the Republican Party today. So, so Ronald Reagan was a good example of that. I think President Trump was another one, was a good example of that, because he, his reality TV show was more about a show. He was the boss. He did the hiring and firing, and Americans really got behind that, and they liked that, and they saw that he was an outsider and told it like it was, so they appreciate that. Arnold Schwarzenegger, very similar in California. So now we're dealing with, you have Caitlyn Jenner and you have Matthew McConaughey. We're not, and Caitlyn, she did an interview with Sean Hannity, which she laid out her plan and her outlines and stuff like that. And I think as far as those things go, I think she has a point. But I'm just not sure that the circus that is the Kardashian-Jenner family is going to help her in terms of reality TV stars as it did help with President Trump, because there's a lot of what have yous and a lot of extra baggage that goes with that. And I'm not sure that isn't going to be louder than her message. So like I said on the show, I'm 50-50 on it.
Yeah. Now, is there a worry that, of course, everybody buys in, like you said, you get the character on there, but once you get into real life situations where you've got to take a real stand on real issues, you find out that you tick off, half the electorate one way or the other. And the consultants would say it's bad for your brand at some point. But there is a real reality that anybody who runs for office has to deal with. And I mean, you don't get to keep the character for too long, do you?
No, and I think, Matthew McConaughey, for a perfect example, if his answer for every crisis in Texas was, all right, yeah. Like, what the hell? You would have to, and the same thing would go with The Rock. It would be like, it doesn't matter what your name is. That's not going to work. You would have to, if you're going to take public office, you have to be willing to let your celebrity status go. You have to be willing, because you're not going to be for everyone anymore. Matthew McConaughey, when I hear he's in a movie, I'll probably watch it. I like it. He seems to me, seems to me like a decent guy. But I don't know his personal feelings or what he's going to do when he has to make decisions, because there's a thing about politics. Every decision you make, whether you think it's great, good, bad, or whatever, somebody is always affected in the negative. If you're going to tax upper class, they're going to be upset about it, and the middle and lower class are going to be good with it. If you make a law that protects the environment, but then farmers are losing their land, somebody's always going to be hurt. That's the problem. That's the burden of being a president. So you can't, or any type of office, if you're going to do it, so you have to let your stuff go. Can you let being a celebrity go? I don't know how many movies President Reagan did after he was president. I don't think he did any. You know what I'm saying? And he could have. He 100% could have. But that's if you're willing to sacrifice that. You know, I get a lot of people tell me always like, hey, you know, you should be in politics. You should do this. You should do that. If I was going to run for political office, my TV career would be over, because to do that, I have to be willing to sacrifice that. You know, and that's the real question. It can't be a caveat. You can't add it to your resume. It's like, oh, I'm an actor and I'm still going to do movies while I'm the governor of Texas. I just don't think that works. And I don't think the American people are going to buy into that.
Tyrus is on the phone with us. It seems like some of these guys that we're talking about, Matthew McConaughey and The Rock especially, we know, you know, certain positions that they have, but not a lot, and not really the really divisive ones, especially in the case of Matthew McConaughey. At the same time, these guys, he's got a book out. The Rock's got a new show out. Do you think that even people like Trump, you know, when he first ran, do you think that he really intended to win the presidency? Or do you think a lot of these people just kind of float their name promotionally?
Well, I think if you're willing to go through the living hell that is mainstream media to run for office only to get your name out there, I think there's a real problem. And you have a serious attention-seeking disorder. Like, we literally in this country, we not only COVID-19 was horrible in the pandemic. We had a huge case of narcissism. That is, no one's, you really can't wear a mask to stop narcissism. So if you're that narcissistic to where you would run for, put it out there, you run for public office to get people to watch your TV show, you are literally the last person I would ever want making decisions about policy in this country, because it's like, well, how many likes on Twitter am I going to get if I decide to, build the wall? Well, you're going to lose some. Oh, don't do it then. If that's where your leadership comes from, stick to the movies, stick to make believe. You're a lot safer there.
Yeah, and maybe do fundraising for your candidates if you really want to be involved. I can only think of one politician who was an actor, went back, got elected to office, and then went back and did acting, and that was Senator Fred Thompson. Because remember,
he was awesome on Law and Order.
He was great. Oh, yeah, he was fantastic.
I learned something new every time he came on. That is the only exception to the rule, because he was still Mr. Thompson. He still sat there with a glass of scotch and made great decisions and always taught lessons. And he asked questions and riddles. Phenomenal. Greatest DA in the history of Law and Order. I said it.
I'm with you, man. No, he was a great actor. I mean, he was in movies and TV, and then he went back. And for some reason, he was forgiven by Hollywood for being a Republican, and then still went back into to Law and Order. And so that just shows how great of an actor he was. And he was a pretty darn good senator as well. But Tyrus, talk to the people out there. We vote who we're familiar with. We vote with people who we like. That's why you see yard signs every time somebody's electing a city council or a school board person. You don't know who it is, but you've seen the name Smith a million times. So I don't know, I'll vote for Smith. So there is an electoral value in name identity, and it may be incumbent on us to say, no, do your research, know who you're voting for. Just because they're famous doesn't mean they're a good fit to be a leader.
Well, that's the problem. We conflate the two. I think George Bush, when he ran, everyone's thing was like, well, I feel like I can have a beer with him and go to a baseball game with him. That was like the people were like, that's why I'm voting for him. There was, and there was a lot of that. And because he was affable and likable, and I love him. And I think he was a really good president in a really tough time. And I like him even more as a former president now. And I think his books are great, and what he's doing for veterans is phenomenal. But you have to research. You cannot vote just party. You have to vote. You have to put yourself before party. You have to vote on things that make the best sense for you and your family and where you're at. And voting for somebody just because they're really cool on TV, understand that they're not. That's not them. They're playing a character. Somebody wrote it for them. So you have to research a guy. And if you say, "Oh man, I really like McConaughey," okay, cool. Let's look at where he stands on this, or what has he done to support this or that, or and you're not seeing anything, and the only thing that he'll stand by is like the generic stuff. Well, I want to make sure everyone has a good education. I'm going to make sure that we have new jobs. Well, everyone's saying that. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do for every new job you make that closes old jobs? How are you going to handle that? And if they're not able to answer those questions, or there's no evidence of that, then you really need to think about, maybe it's better if I just see them in the movie and not necessarily standing outside of my city hall. So we all have to research better. And that's the one thing. Another thing in the pandemic is everybody's researching stuff. And of course, President Trump has changed the game in terms of how you look at politics, because it's transparent now. It's up there with everyone knows what everyone's doing now. Every time he called somebody out for not supporting the agenda after they said they did it or going back or whatever, they'd be like, well, who's this guy and who's this guy? We now know who the senators are and who the House leaders are, the minority leaders. Where before people didn't really pay attention to that. And now it matters that no one likes the Senate. Now we're seeing a lot of retirements and a lot of people are getting out because they know they're not going to get reelected, because the jig is up. People are paying attention now. And if it wasn't for the transparency that was on President Trump's watch, whether you like it or not, everyone was watching and everyone was paying attention to government. And government became like a sports show where everyone was watching to see what was going on. Those statistics was, well, he's always voting no on this, but he's saying yes on that, so maybe this isn't our guy. So there's good things that come from it, I think. But you're 100% right. We got to research everybody.
Tyrus is on the phone with us, Fox Nation host of Enough Said. Just before we run out of time with you, this is all relevant, of course, because Caitlyn Jenner is running for governor of Florida. Any predictions on what's going to happen?
California.
Maybe not necessarily just with Caitlyn Jenner, but with Gavin Newsom. Is he going to
retain? I'm fairly confident that she will not win in Florida, no matter how hard she tries. One, I don't think she's resident. And it's an absolute contradiction.
Did I say Florida?
Yeah. Conflict of interest. I think the brother in Florida, I think he's going to be all right. I don't see Newsom losing. I see hopefully this is an attention getter and maybe regroup and run when his term is up. I think the field is going to be so full. Votes are going to be spread. And of course, and I said on the show on Focus today, the mass exodus of California by Republican voters to Texas and to Arizona is substantially going to hurt with a spread out field. Even though and Newsom he always finds a way to ride out the news cycle, So, and of course, I think that plays in his favor. So I would like to see that if she uses this and see how much reaction, how many votes she got, and then regroup and come back when his term's up. So I don't see this. Ending in any other way. I think he survives this, but if she's the standout out of the field, then she should look at this and regroup and come back.
And Tyrus, before we let you go here, I mean, that's goes back to the original point that was being made is, okay, so if Caitlyn Jenner is the standout candidate of whoever else is in that race, nobody else is getting the attention. Well, why? Because they're not a celebrity, especially somebody like Caitlyn Jenner, who, first became known because of being an Olympian and then became known because of the transgender status, and now is an activist. So it's an eclectic person who's there, but that would be why that would be why Caitlyn Jenner is leading, which goes back to the original point is this how we select our nominees and make our policy decisions? I mean, Ronald Reagan at least had experience as a governor before he went to be president.
Well, it also has to go with how serious people are about change. And if you're saying that somebody who's just known from notoriety on TV is a better choice than the politician you have in there, I guess that in itself is a message. And two, you would hope that, and I would argue, being a former Olympian, that I'm sure she takes everything serious and trains her brain the same way she trained her body. So she's probably, just based off success in her life and overcoming obstacles, I would say that she's not your ordinary celebrity candidate. So I wouldn't be surprised that she has a strong agenda and people are relating to it. So that could kind of be another reason. If it's purely off of the train wreck that is reality TV, then no, I don't think she has a shot. I think it actually hurts her. But she had some strong points. I think her stuff on immigration was intelligent, compelling, made sense. And I really felt like it was not just a greatest hits on TV interview. It was she took it seriously as a politician and generally believes that she can make change. So all those are good, positive signs. I just don't know if this particular type of election is the best election for her in terms of getting in the office. I think Newsom has enough Democratic pull, and I think he's got enough votes to maintain.
All right, Tyrus from Fox Nation. Find him on Twitter at Planet Tyrus, of course, the host of Nuff Said. Good talking to you again, Tyrus.
Always a pleasure.
All right, still ahead here. Speaking of Florida, Governor DeSantis signs a new election reform bill, and already the media is lying about it. And we're going to talk to folks from Landmark Legal Foundation about that just ahead right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
It's time for Edwards Carpet's Mother's Day sale. 50-ounce premium carpet, just $3.99 a square foot. Cortec 20 mil wear layer LVP starting at $2.99 a square foot and get 18 months interest-free financing.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Store.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jules on Hampton.
Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, Andrew Royer. Ophthalmology Associates. They are open to take care of all of your vision needs. 314-966-5000. They're a half mile west of 270 on Manchester Road. Great people. YourEyeDoc.com is their website, and you can read about all of the services they offer. You know, this is the time of year that your eyes can start to get a little itchy and scratchy. Is it allergies? It could be more than just allergies. They're leaders in dry eye diagnosis and treatment, and Ophthalmology Associates also the leaders when it comes to describing how allergies can affect your eyes. LASIK, they know all about it, how it can reduce or eliminate your need for contacts and glasses, and they also will offer an annual eye health examination that can prevent many kinds of eye and health problems down the road and usually covered by your medical insurance. Check it out at the doctors, YourEyeDoc.com, Ophthalmology Associates.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Wow, that's remarkable. That's right. Join Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar and lose the weight or stop smoking for only $49.99 guaranteed, or your money back. Because of coronavirus, seminar now online live Thursday, May 13th or Saturday, May 15th for the St. Louis area. Details at markpatrickseminars.com. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis can pay you cash and close in as little as 5 days. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis is your most trusted home buyer. We buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location in the St. Louis metro. Call 314-782-5000. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis buys inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses, and even those my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Call Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis today. Vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, get a cash offer in just 7 minutes. Call Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis at 314-782-5000. That's 314-782-5000. 314-782-5000.
97.1 is your home for independent thought. That's why 97.1 is the #1 talk station in St. Louis. It's the place for ideas in a country facing challenges like never before.
Looks like we've got a little bit of breaking news, and I know this is not a sports show, but pretty credible sources like, say, Sports Center are saying there's a big deal that's happening in baseball, Ryan.
Yeah, Sports Center confirming what Tom Ackerman at KMOX and Frank Cusimano have already reported too. That is that Albert Pujols is being released today by the Angels. I assume that means he'll be unrestricted.
Yeah, if they release him, that's typically how that goes. I don't. Do you know any teams that would be looking for a home run hitter?
I mean, everybody's speculating. Is there
anybody
right?
who comes to mind who might welcome Albert Pujols in the lineup?
I mean, do you think? I mean, you're the baseball guy. Do you think he's still got enough that he could contribute to the Cardinals?
I don't see him in the infield that St. Louis has. Because I think there's a really solid infield. I mean, you make room for Albert Pujols? Yes, definitely. I mean, if you can have Matt Carpenter be your pinch hitter, why wouldn't you have Albert Pujols, as a pinch hitter? And I think it would be completely fitting for Albert Pujols to finish his career with the Cardinals. I mean, I would think he's going to the Hall of Fame as a Cardinal, but I mean, can you imagine the excitement if Albert Pujols comes back? I don't know what his current slash line is and the stats are. I can look that up real quick. But I mean, it's usually a really hard decision to cut a future Hall of Famer, just release him like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking up the same thing as you are. It looks like he's hitting 198.
Oh, wow.
With 3 walks in 92 plate appearances. But everybody keeps saying, he's still hitting the ball hard. So maybe that slash line doesn't reflect his actual talent. But wouldn't the Cardinals be on the hook for something like $10 million to be adding a bench guy for just this year? I mean, I love the idea. I just don't know if they'll do it.
Or I wonder if they make room for a new deal with a hitting coach. I mean, the reality is that, Albert Pujols is 40 something now, which in baseball years, that is, very, very at the end of your career, even though for the rest of the world, you're just getting started in your career. So, he's may just not be fast enough to keep up with it. That's what happens with age. But I don't know. I mean, it's Albert Pujols. I don't know anybody who's going to pick up that amount of contract that he's got with the Angels, because he signed a massive deal when he left St. Louis. But yeah, if he's hitting 198, the Angels probably aren't going to be willing to eat a lot of that deal. But yeah, who knows? I mean, he can still hit with pop. I mean, he can still hit the ball. He is not washed up. Let's just put it that way. He's not washed up, but is he at an all-star level anymore? No, he's not at that, but he's not washed up by any means.
Here's what Frank Cusimano just tweeted. The Pujols camp tells me today that Albert would like to continue to play. They feel that despite the low batting average, he was hitting the ball hard, and that the goal of 700 homers remains. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun to see this season. But isn't there? I remember when he signed that deal in 2011, there were some interesting creative aspects to that contract that were beyond. I mean, it was a huge contract, 10 years. We're at the very end of it now, 2021. But I think that he became a part or very, very minor percentage owner of the Angels or something involved in that contract, which makes you wonder if another team picks the contract up, does that follow him to the next team too?
I don't
that
think
whole thing?
Yeah, I don't think it could. But if this is at the end of the contract, maybe because the Angels would be on the hook for even the deferred payments.
True.
So maybe they could get the Cardinals or anybody else could get Pujols for a very, very reasonable price because they wouldn't be dealing with the deferred payments because those are all what the Angels would be on the hook for since he played basically the 10 years with them.
Yeah, he would. I guess if they were going to pick him up just off the waiver wire, they'd have to just take the contract on it as is and pay the remainder of it. But like you said, the Angels are on the hook for it regardless. So maybe they could come to a deal with the Angels and say, we'll eat $1 million to have Albert back for half a season, just for old time's sake. I'd love to see that.
Well, and he's good for the game of baseball. I mean, across the league, he's good for the game of baseball.
Amy on YouTube says, let's take him and he can retire as a Cardinal. So she's down.
And St. Louis is one of those markets where they are loyal to players.
Jennifer on Facebook says, yes, bring him back. So it seems like everybody's pretty much on board.
Man, there was some anger at him in 2011, wasn't there? I think we're over it, but
yeah, I think, if St. Louis can, forgive Keith Hernandez, I think, but you look at when he came back for the first time to play here as an Angel after all those years, the stadium was packed. The standing ovation lasted forever. St. Louis loves Pujols.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he's continued to do work with his charity that supports Down syndrome here, which is just awesome. I mean, that's one of those things that you're like, please, Albert, stay beloved to the heart of St. Louis because he does so much good stuff here. Just like Kurt Warner still does good charity stuff here, even though they haven't been a part of St. Louis teams for a long time.
Yeah, and again, if there's any place for him to finish out his career, I can't think of any other place that it would make more sense than in St. Louis. Now, where you put him into a lineup with a team that is really legitimately competing, in the Cardinals starting today are in first place in the Central, and we're coming in on, believe it or not, almost 20% of the season over with at this point. So, there's some guys that aren't hitting on the Cardinals either, but our Pujols is a power hitter. I mean, he's always hit for average too, but he's a power hitter. Maybe he's the guy that you bring in to get some pop on there. I mean, the Cardinals obviously are playing this afternoon, so we can't, reach over to our sports guys, our sports buddies down the hall because they're busy doing the actual game. But man, that's a big development because just releasing somebody who's in the last year of their contract when they're a surefire Hall of Famer, man, that's surprising at any level. I mean, I could see a team saying, hey, we're going to a part-time player. We're going to get this other guy more innings or more games. But just to absolutely release an Albert Pujols is still, to me, surprises me. I give his business, and he's not producing a lot right now at the plate, but still, he's Albert Pujols.
Katie, you pulled up a quote there from Brad, who's a moderator on our YouTube page. Go ahead. You want to read that? Because it kind of sheds some light on the contract situation.
Brad says, no, guys, a release means he has to sign a new contract. The Angels eat the old contract. It was a 10-year personal services contract after this contract expired. That's a lot of contracts.
So I think that what that means is that regardless of anybody picking him up, they'd have to sign him to something brand new, and he still gets paid by the Angels regardless.
That's good work if you can find it.
Well, that's
exciting.
That seems like that would make it almost more likely than not that the Cardinals could be interested in and pursue something with him.
I don't think Albert Pujols is hurting for money. So even if the Cardinals say, hey, here's X number of dollars, and it may be something that a normal Hall of Famer would never go with. But if Albert Pujols says, listen, I'm in this to get to 700 home runs, and then I'm going to retire the next day, maybe just who's my ticket to stay on that field and stay in a batting lineup. And obviously with the American League having the inferior baseball product of a designated hitter in the lineup, whereas the National League plays the game the way God intended without a designated hitter, that may be a little bit tougher in the National League as well. But it's wow, that's big news right there.
Yet you bring up another question. Actually, I mean, I don't want to hammer this home too much, but would he, just to get to 700, would he sign with a different team, or is he really trying to make the Cardinals play here?
And I have never met Albert Pujols, but my guess would be go for the Cardinals first. That's where your home is. And if that doesn't work out, look for another American League team where you can DH.
He's not going to get there this season, though. I just looked it up. He's got 656 career home runs. So,
44
for him to get to 700 is going to be a stretch.
Yeah, he's going to have to really pick up the pace if that were to happen. Yeah, that's basically, statistically, that's probably not going to happen. So does he try to DH for a season and a half for somebody, basically, and really step up the game? All right. Interesting news here. All right, still ahead here. Ron DeSantis signs another election integrity law, and, well, the media responds the way that you would expect the media to respond. We're going to talk to folks at Landmark Legal Foundation about that just ahead here on the Annie Frey Show. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality water heater and AeroSeal duct seal services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
After such an extraordinary year, it's time to celebrate the most extraordinary member of the family, Mom. Diamonds Direct invites you to join us as we say cheers to the mothers in our lives. For this Mother's Day, we've put together an exceptional collection of affordable and meaningful gifts for any budget. Birthstone rings, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. So cheers to you, Mom, for being such an incredible partner, for learning to be a teacher in the past year, for keeping the family healthy and safe, for always putting everything else first. This year, more than ever, she deserves a gift that's anything but ordinary. And at Diamonds Direct, that's our specialty. Timeless gifts of jewelry that she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come. Why not surprise her with a bigger diamond for her ring? Come let the experts at Diamonds Direct help you find that remarkable gift that says, cheers, Mom, for all your remarkable efforts over the last year. Diamonds Direct, Olive and 270 at City Place.
Have you always dreamed of a lush green lawn? Get that beautiful curb appeal without the hassle by calling Professional Irrigation Systems. They'll install your new automatic lawn sprinkler system and give you a variety of options and warranties. Don't spend half your day lugging a hose around watering your lawn. Let Professional Irrigation Systems do the work for you. They offer spring activations, backflow testing, mid-season tune-ups, and winterization. Call the pros that have been in business for 20 years. Professional Irrigation Systems. Online at proirrigation.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for ThrottleNet, and if you need new IT service and you're a small business owner, or you just need better IT service, why wouldn't you check out ThrottleNet? They won Best in Customer Service from Small Business Monthly this past January, Best in Cybersecurity in Small Business Monthly in February. Ransomware has been huge, unfortunately, on the rise through the pandemic, and ThrottleNet has saved clients $2.6 million in ransom. So they protect against ransomware by providing a tool set that provides cybersecurity training for employees, identifying and quarantining an infected machine from the network, and the equipment will recover in less than 24 hours. Take advantage of a great offer. The first 30 days with ThrottleNet are free. There's no onboarding fees if you leave in the first 30 days. ThrottleNet will pay you $1,000 for your trouble. And after the first 30 days, no contracts, they're month to month. Check out ThrottleNet online. Use the 97.1 connection, throttlenet.com/971. Throttlenet.com/971. Get started today.
Warm weather's a great time to train a new puppy. Mark Cox here from my friends at Petland in Lake St. Louis. They've got the puppies. If you've had a hard time finding one, go to petlandstl.com or just pay them a visit. 6131 Ronald Reagan Drive out in Lake St. Louis. Puppies have been hard to come by, but the owners, Tom and Jeff, have amazing relationships. They can offer the best selection of puppies in Missouri. Again, 636-695-4503, petlandstl.com.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Joe Cardinale, retired New York Police Department Lieutenant Commander.
It's such a bad atmosphere out there right now for the police. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Who wants to go on there and put their life and their livelihood on the line anymore?
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Seems I've got to have a chance to see him. Every night I have
If you were listening to some of the headlines on cable TV and the newspapers on their web and social media platforms, do you know what just happened in Florida? Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that does everything possible to make sure that people can't vote. It's restricting voting. It is targeting minorities. It basically is a way to try to make sure that only people who are going to vote his way are going to vote. I mean, that's essentially what's being argued by the media. I'm Mike Ferguson. It's 144. I'm in for Annie Frey, obviously joined now by Pete Hutchison of the Landmark Legal Foundation. And I cannot say that I'm surprised in the least bit about the headlines and the way this has shaped everything from, the CNNs of the worlds, the New York Times of the worlds to, the other outlets out there. They're basically what they're saying is Ron DeSantis signs restrictive voter law into place instead of looking at the voter integrity aspect of this. I'm not surprised. Are you, Pete?
No, but who knew George Wallace was still alive? I'm stunned to find that out.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it is similar in some ways to, what's done in Texas, what we're looking at Missouri, and there's a focus on saying, it puts more rules on mail-in voting, therefore it's restricting voting. Well, first of all, I think mail-in voting is a stupid thing unless you are actually a service member serving somewhere other than where you live. And so that's not about restricting voting. They talked about millions of votes being cast by mail-in voting in Florida. Well, maybe that's a problem as well. I don't see why going to the polls or voting early, as long as you're going in person, I don't see why that's a big deal. But the argument is you can't just mail in a ballot from anywhere with no chain of custody. Therefore, you're restricting voting.
That's right. And you're also not allowed to have a drop box out in the middle of nowhere or in the middle of a city or, wherever it is. It's unmonitored that somebody can dump votes into. There's no chain of custody there either. These are extremely reasonable voter integrity measures. It's what it is it's preemptive pushback on the federal Congress trying to nationalize election laws, which is coming, here in a few weeks. The Senate's going to take up the For the People Act, which is, a terrible name for that bill because it's anything but. But Florida, this is the pushback. This is the pushback against the woke crowd, the gang, the mob, really, that is trying to label conservatives and people who of goodwill who are trying to have free and fair elections, labeling us all as racist and Jim Crow, and it's just this is the pushback, and it's gonna carry throughout the nation. This is a good thing.
Pete Hutchison, Landmark Legal Foundation, on the phone with us. You mentioned the For the People Act. As we're seeing this pushback happen at the state level, what does it mean that the Senate's going to take that legislation up next week? My assumption is that means just the filibuster goes into effect and nothing happens. But am I wrong?
Right. Well, they're going to have what's called a markup where they have senators can propose amendments to the bill and that sort of thing, and the Democrats will vote them all down. But yes, this is where the filibuster, where the rubber meets the road. We'll see if Joe Manchin is going to stand firm. But this is where all of the big gun, as I said, woke mob are going to be in full force, and the media will just be going crazy. And they'll be talking about how important it is that we enact this law to keep states like Florida, from oppressing all of the black and brown people. So get ready for it. And you mentioned Missouri's law, and I'd like to address that. The Brennan Center, which is this preeminent voting outfit out of NYU Law School. They claim, they had a paper they put out in February, and the first state that they talked about as being a voter suppression state was Missouri, because the legislature has decided to go back to the way things were pre-COVID. And that makes us racist pigs in Missouri. So it just shows you how completely out of line and out of control these people are. And I'm proud of DeSantis. I'm proud of what they did in Georgia. I'm proud of what's going on in Texas, and I'm proud of what we're doing in Missouri. So there.
These states that you're listing, Missouri, Texas, Florida, Georgia. Missouri's not been necessarily in the news as much, but those other three certainly have. Missouri, I think probably because it's not considered as much of a swing state anymore, as much as Florida, Georgia, and the litany of others are. I guess my question for you is, across the country, we've heard about just those states, but what about the other swing states? Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona. What's going on at the state level as far as voter integrity in those states, and do you know?
Well, I don't know. I should know. I don't know what's going on in all of those states, but actually in each one of those states, there are proposals to do the kinds of things that they're doing in Florida, but the political will is not strong among Republicans in Pennsylvania in particular. Wisconsin and Michigan, they are strong, but their numbers are not. And so, but again, I think that just this screeching of Jim Crow and just people who know history, even a little bit, understand that this is completely out of whack. And I think the Democrats are going to be very sorry that they signed on to the progressive agenda, because people just know in their hearts that this isn't right. There's just something wrong here, and we're not going to get on board with it anymore.
Hey, Pete,
it was cool for a while, but not anymore.
Yeah, Pete, let me go back to the media coverage of this. And I'm thinking of one of my wife and I's good friends who, and she sees the political issues very different than us, and she's still a good friend of ours, but she looks at a headline and makes a snap decision on it, and it frustrates the heck out of me. And I don't even bother talking politics. She's a wonderful person and every other way, but she'll listen to the headlines from the sources that she likes. And when you look at the headlines, DeSantis signs new voting restrictions, DeSantis signs tougher, that kind of stuff. There are so many people who make up their mind on those headlines. The headlines are wrong. The headlines are misleading, but typically the mainstream media, they know that this is what happens. So I have a hard time believing that this is just their version of the story. They know they're influencing people with the headline because so many people are too lazy to read the story.
Absolutely. Editors used to try to make articles better. Now they try to make them more controversial. And that's exactly what goes on here. There's a Miami Herald article about this, the events of the day. And in the article, it talks about the oppressive voter ID component. And what is it? You have to either produce a driver's license or number or the last four numbers of your social security number in order to order a mail ballot. Well, what's the big deal there? You can be sure if somebody goes in to buy a gun, that's not going to be enough for the left. They're going to want your photo ID, your birth certificate, your criminal record, which of course that's not entirely out of line, but and a bad example. But you get my point. Florida is just undertaking these very reasonable and inoffensive and very easy to comply with requirements, and the media is making them sound like, how many jelly beans are in this jar? It's crazy.
Pete Hutchinson, Landmark Legal Foundation. You mentioned Missouri, and that I didn't know that we had gone back to just pre-COVID rules in Missouri, and that apparently makes us controversial. When we're talking about these new laws that are going into effect in states like Florida, with DeSantis and Texas and Georgia that have been in the news, are they already back to pre-COVID, and then these are on top of that, these laws, or are these just sort of reining in what became law during COVID?
Well, and you're talking about the Florida and the other states. I think what they're doing there is that they see where problems arose during the last election. You had these ballot drop-off points that were not, they weren't monitored. There was no way of telling what was going in there and who was putting it in there. The ballots that would go in there, they really had no way of knowing if they were legitimate absentee ballots because of the no ID requirement there. So what they're doing is fine tuning their process here to bring integrity to the entire process. So it's not like they are coming up with this new agenda. These are problems that arose last fall and in previous elections that the state legislature, elected by the people of the state, have decided that they want to address. And so it's not that they're going back to pre-COVID necessarily, but they're recognizing because of all of the, the added mail balloting and all the, non-going to the polls options, that of course there were issues that arose because it was to use a word that's not been overused in the last year, unprecedented. They're addressing these issues. Now, I want to clarify, Missouri. I'm not sure that they've passed the bill or not, but it was a proposal to go back to pre-COVID, not more restrictive, not less, but go back to pre-COVID.
Yeah,
and that's what the left latches onto and says, "Oh, voter suppression."
Yeah, Pete, let me jump in real quick because we've got less than a minute before we got to get to the news.
Yeah.
What happened is that when the increased mail-in voting and stuff was passed, it had a sunset date on it, so it automatically went back, and the legislature said, "No, we're not expanding it. We are going to make the decision to let those expire and go back to normal."
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, and so it was
racist pigs.
And the thing is, it's really frustrating to me is that this is one area where political ideology shouldn't make a bit of difference. We should all want fair elections where only the legal votes are counted, but that's just not where we are. All right, Pete, we've got to run to the news. People want to be in touch with you at Landmark Legal. How do we do it?
Landmarklegal.org is our website, and you can fill out a contact form there, and you can also donate to us there. And I really appreciate you having me on today, Mike.
Yeah, you got it, Pete. Good to talk to you again. Of course, you can find them all over social media as well. And when it comes to the vote, I mean, the things like with the drop boxes, to me, this is just insane. Why did you drop off the library book in the drop box? Because you were late and you didn't want to actually face the person who was going to tell you owed them 75 cents when you were a kid. You remember those days? Are you old enough for that, Katie? I don't remember.
I was, but absolutely.
The drop box to say, here's a ballot, just like Pete said, coming in from who knows who filled it out. We're just going to drop it off. Nobody there to check to see whether it's actually your ballot or not is a terrible idea. I'm glad that they're going away or being harder to use.
Hi, this is Tracy, president of Acropolis Technology Group. I want to start by recognizing our team's exceptional hard work during this pandemic, and apparently our clients recognize it as well. We were just honored by not winning one Best in Business award, but 4 Best in Business awards. We won Best IT Firm, Best in Cybersecurity, Best in Customer Service, and Best in Value. These 4 awards are a culmination of our team's hard work every single day, all done during the most challenging year we've had in our 24-year history. What these 4 awards tell me is that we are recognized for being experts at our craft. We do it in a friendly way, and our clients see value from partnering with us. I can't think of 4 better awards that summarize what it is we do for our clients each and every week. Acropolis has been helping some of the region's best companies protect, optimize, and grow their businesses now for many years. We have done it for them, and we can help you too. To find out more, give us a call or visit us at acropolistech.com. That's Acropolis, TECH.com. Acropolis, it's a better way to manage IT.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service and Environmental Resources. Spring is a great time to refresh your garden and landscape. At Hansen's, we manufacture a full line of garden and landscape products that are perfect for your outdoor project. Pick up any of our products at World Outdoor Emporium, Kirkwood Materials, or a Hansen's location near you.
Hi, everybody. This is Sean Rimmerman, your host of We're Having a Senior Moment. Do you have a warm heart and a caring soul? Are you really devoted to being able to help others? Give us a call at Comfort Care 314-965-9600. Let us help you turn your dreams into reality as you help our friends, our families, and our clients live their best lives possible. Remember, 314-965-9600.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Wow, that's remarkable. That's right. Join Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar and lose the weight or stop smoking for only $49.99 guaranteed, or your money back. Because of coronavirus, seminar now online live Thursday, May 13th or Saturday, May 15th for the St. Louis area. Details at markpatrickseminars.com. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
With Ameren, Missouri, getting summer ready is as easy as HVAC. Now you can get up to $900 back when you purchase a qualifying HVAC system. See? Easy breezy. Find terms and participating contractors at AmerenMissouriSavings.com/HVAC.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A more forceful pitch from the president, Lisa Brady, Fox News. He's back on the road and describing an easy choice, as he sees it, between tax breaks for the wealthy or investing in working families. This as he tries to sell his infrastructure plan and the tax hike to help pay for it.
President Biden stressed his infrastructure message in Louisiana, where hurricanes and frigid weather have forced the area to rebuild several times. The president said the cities and towns there are a symbol of what needs to be done.
A lot of we're going to have to build back now in terms of infrastructure. We got to build back to a different standard, not to what it was. It's got to be better.
Republicans in Congress continue to push back, saying the jobs plan is too costly. The president says he'll negotiate, but won't settle for doing nothing. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The White House says Florida is going in the wrong direction with its new voting law. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis signing a bill into law earlier today that adds more ID requirements to request a mail-in ballot and limits who can return those ballots. Groups claiming that law will suppress minority votes are already planning to sue. Not just U.S. troops, but all contractors working with the U.S. are being pulled out of Afghanistan as Defense Chief Lloyd Austin defends the president's decision not to leave a small contingent of troops in place amid ongoing counterterrorism concerns.
Once we've left, again, our focus is on providing maintaining a CT capability over the horizon.
Secretary Austin holding his first joint briefing with the Joint Chiefs Chairman, General Mark Milley, who says the focus now is on an orderly and safe withdrawal. Meantime, Austin says right now the Pentagon has no plans to try to shoot down parts of a Chinese rocket due to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere this weekend. They're still hoping it lands in the ocean. America is listening to Fox News.
Want the truth on why I wake up looking so darn awesome? I take care of my skin. Not just my face, but more intimate skin. And when you've got incontinence, you sure need to.
Tenna Intimates pads lock liquid in and are now 100% breathable to care for your intimate skin, day or night. Tenna Intimates are now endorsed by the Skin Health Alliance. Visit tennasample.com for your free sample. Kind to skin, protects like Tenna.
Who's really running Joe Biden's White House? The First Lady? Kamala Harris? Maybe Barack Obama? Now, Newsmax's Greg Kelly asks the tough questions. Watch Greg Kelly tonight at 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Eastern and see his series, Who's Really in Charge? Newsmax TV is on all major cable systems. If you don't get it, tell your cable operator you want Newsmax. Or download the free Newsmax app on your phone and start watching right away. Millions are watching Newsmax. So should you.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our latest cool front in the northwest flow triggering some scattered showers and some scattered non-severe thunderstorms this afternoon. A mix of clouds and sunshine otherwise. Scattered the key word here. But the front will cool our temperatures out of the 60s and into the upper 50s by late today. Tonight, a little hint of fall in the air. It's cold for May. 42 degrees Friday, lots of sunshine, 69. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Presented by Indeed. Indeed has this hiring tool called Instant Match, and it really lives up to its name. Just post a sponsored job, and Indeed instantly searches millions of resumes in their database to immediately deliver the candidates that fit your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
You've heard it's a seller's market, and yes, that makes it a great time to sell your home. Hey, it's Mark Cox here, and like every home seller, I want you to sell for the most money with the least stress. That's easy. Just call Gloria Liu with GL International Realty, part of Coldwell Banker Premier Group. Gloria is St. Louis real estate authority with an outstanding team that sells twice as fast for about 3% more money than other realtors. That's about $12,000 more on a $400,000 home. Gloria's unique marketing system showcases your home to her exclusive pool of over 9,000 ready buyers, resulting in increased demand and strong offers. Gloria Liu's sellers love working with her. They gladly refer to friends because they know Gloria guarantees to sell your home at your agreed to price, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Tired, lethargic, even after coffee? You not sleeping soundly?
I'm Dr. Khan. I use DNA Company's DNA sleep analysis on my patients with incredible results. Truly life-saving results. If you're having difficulty sleeping, try it. It's guaranteed or your money back.
Hi, this is Sarah. The DNA Company's analysis is amazing. Now my husband and I sleep like babies.
Hi, this is H.Y. Khan, Director of R&D at the DNA Company. Did you know that lack of sleep weakens the immune system, increases your risk of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, forgetfulness, and weight gain? The DNA Company has studied over 22,000 genes, collected 500,000 genomic data points, and built the first genomic-based artificial intelligence platform to analyze what genetic factors are causing your poor sleep and how to fix it.
I couldn't sleep no matter what I did. I was miserable, no energy, tired. I got the DNA sleep analysis. Now I sleep like a baby and have so much energy. The DNA Company saved my life. This is Carl telling you the DNA analysis for sleep works.
Get your DNA sleep analysis at DNAsleep.com. Only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. That's DNAsleep.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Find your perfect Mazda with significant savings from all three Bomarito Mazda locations. Over 500 new Mazdas to choose from in every color and style. Plus, every new Mazda has the Bomarito nationwide warranty, 10 years, 200,000 miles. Right now, buy a select 2020 or 2021 Mazda with 0% financing available. That's at all three Bomarito Mazda locations, West County, South County, and St. Peter.
Odyssey is all the audio that matters to you. Listen on your smart speaker or voice-assisted device. Amazon Echo, Google Nest, Sonos, Apple HomePod. It's so easy to play your favorites at your command. Hands-free. All kinds of music from all over the country. Top 40, rock, R&B, country, alternative, and more. Sports talk and coverage from all the leagues. News from coast to coast. It's all here. Just ask your smart speaker to play your favorite station. Explore a universe of audio. Odyssey.
Hi, this is Curtis Barks. I am the owner of Complete Auto Body and Repair, here to tell you about our touchless automotive service. If you're experiencing the constant struggles of having the kids home from school or just want more of that family time where you can listen to them teach you about what they do every day, we provide touchless automotive service, return the vehicle to you clean and ready to go in the comfort of your own home. Check us out online at CompleteAB.com for more information. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Radio.com is now Odyssey. Download the Odyssey app to listen to 97.1 FM Talk and find content that moves you. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk on the go. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
One of the guarantees in life, at least in our culture, is that when government overreaches, there will be unintended consequences. It's gonna happen. Markets happen. Above board markets happen, black markets happen, and we're seeing that with COVID-19, by the way. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey. It is just about 10 minutes after 2 o'clock. Of course, 1 hour from right now, Mark Reardon is going to be on the air with us here. And I'm looking at the story out of California. And Ryan, I don't know if you've seen this, but a bar owner has been busted for making fake COVID-19 vaccination cards and selling them for like $20 per card out of the bar.
I haven't, but that is going to be a side effect of government intrusion into this issue. We were all waiting for this to happen. Right?
It does not shock me at all. And apparently, the undercover agents who went in and they bought many of these cards. I mean, many of them from the bar, and they had just somebody had gotten on a computer and they had created based on the photos that they've seen others. They used the government seals. And so there are actual crimes for like making a fraudulent medical document for using state seals. So they're going to probably get them on several charges. But when you look at government, and I've actually got a copy of my card here because I've had both vaccinations, even though I had COVID-19 and I still had antibodies, I went ahead and made the choice to go get the vaccines. And boy, did that second one make me sick. We can talk about that in a minute. But when you've got all this talk about you're going to have to show this in order to go back to any sort of freedom or real life in a lot of parts of our society, you knew that this was going to happen. You don't have the freedom to make this. Well, you've got the freedom to make this personal choice. But if you make the choice we don't like, then we're not going to allow you to access society because there are a lot of people still scared. This is an unintended consequences. I'm not saying I support the guy or agree with him. I think it's awful. But this is really predictable.
Gosh. So I haven't gotten the vaccine. I don't think Katie has either. But you've gotten the vaccine, Mike. And in Missouri, they are giving you a vaccine card that you can show your papers.
Yep. They sure do.
Well, they're prepping us. They're prepping us just in case some events, some places that you want to go. I mean, if the boss of that company or the boss of that restaurant's like, you can't come in until I see your Vax card, they're probably prepping us for it.
There it is right there.
This surprises me. It doesn't surprise me that this is going on in California. It does surprise me that this is going on in Missouri. And maybe this is a federal thing. They're just giving you your papers regardless because it's coming down from the federal government. But I can't believe that this doesn't, even that one fact that you just said, Katie, that you might, as a private business, you could require people to have the vaccine to come in. That seems like it would run into HIPAA violations. That you can't force somebody to show their medical background to you as a private citizen.
Yeah, and I've heard mixed things on the HIPAA situation because I know that hospitals or medical clinics, they can't disclose your personal medical information. I don't think employers can do it. I don't
But
know.
if you want to willingly, what does that
Right.
mean? Like if
Yeah.
you're willingly, if you're wanting to get into a bar and you're saying, I'm totally fine with telling you my medical history, is that a
Well,
violation?
yeah, I mean,
then?
I can't violate my own rights on that. But yeah, and I really went back and forth because, I talked to, some pretty high level pathologists who had worked with the CDC back when it still had credibility, and the FDA. And they told me before the studies actually came out, they said, Mike, if you've had COVID-19, your immunity is probably good for up to 2 years. And then 6 months later, MIT publishes a story that says recent research indicates that immunity could last for up to 2 years. So I really went back and forth. I said, okay, do I want to do the vaccine? Do I not want to do the vaccine? And for a variety of reasons, my wife and I said, yeah, we'll go ahead and both get the vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
And Rachel had basically zero reaction to either one of them. No side effects. On the second one, she said the next day she had a little bit of muscle achiness, so she took a nap and that was the end of it. But she, has to travel a lot, and she also is the the guardian for her mother, who unfortunately is in a memory care situation. So in order to do all that, it's just something that needed to be done. I got a little bit sick after the first one, and I got the other shot. Man, did that knock me for a loop. It took about 6 or 7 hours to set in, and I started to feel bad. That night, I couldn't sleep, chills, fever, sweating. It was a good almost over a day and a half, almost 2 days. It's exactly the symptoms they say that could happen. And I asked a bunch of medical types, and they said that means, Mike, your antibodies were really active and really strong. You probably had a lot of them, and that's why you got sick on both of them. Well, so good. I've got antibodies and a vaccine.
Hurrah.
Yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
great.
it sucked at the time, and I don't think that I would change my opinion. And I'm not begging you to get a vaccine or not get a vaccine. I just think it's a personal choice. I completely respect your personal choice, and it is not going to make a difference to me if you get the vaccine or not, whether or not we have a cup of coffee or high five or whatever the case is. You do what's right for you. I did what's right for me.
Totally.
And I think that's the way it should be, and it shouldn't affect anybody else's freedom to do anything they want.
Absolutely. My dad and basically my whole family, immediate family, I should say, has gotten the vaccine besides me and my husband. My sister, brother, and my dad, no one had a single reaction.
That's great.
To both doses, not even a single reaction. But I've been hearing lately, and I might be, Ryan, I don't know if we've asked Dr. Hardiman this or not yet, but I have been hearing that if you've had COVID and you get the COVID shot, there is a possibility that you're going to have a harder reaction to the vaccine because you've had COVID before.
Yeah.
Have we asked Dr. Hardiman that question, Ryan?
I don't know if we've asked him that directly, but we ask him these questions like in general a lot because we get them on the stream, but also I think me and you, Katie, because we haven't had the shot, there's this gray area that we've explored a lot with Dr. Hardiman that really bothers me outside of the medical aspect of it, because medically speaking, when we've talked to him, and it makes sense, when you get the vaccine, what you're doing is you're introducing that to your body so that your body will make antibodies against COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you've already got antibodies, socially, we don't ever talk about the antibodies outside of the vaccine. We just talk about, well, if you've been vaccinated, then you can XYZ. But like you said, Mike, and me and Katie, we've all had COVID.
Right.
You've had the vaccine and you have apparently strong antibodies.
Yeah.
We have antibodies now, and they may last, who knows, a year, 2 years, who knows?
Yeah, they don't know. Maybe longer. Who knows? We don't know.
And maybe longer. And exactly, we don't know. I mean, a minimum of maybe like 3 to 6 months, but probably a maximum of much longer than that. And we never talk about that group of people as far as what those people are sort of allowed to do, which gets back to your original point. The government saying what you can and can't do in the first place is just going to cause all kinds of these issues that we then have to strap more government oversight onto.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. My wife, a few weeks ago, she's been to 2 conferences in the last month. You know, she's right now a professor at Lindenwood University, and she does these academic conferences. And a few weeks ago, she went to one in Rhode Island, and they asked everybody to send in a copy or a picture of their vaccine card, or to send them the results of a recent COVID test. And it was a private event. They said, this is what our polling of people asked for. We didn't really have a problem with it. It's a private event. It wasn't government saying anything. And of course, the one person who didn't do that was the keynote speaker. Well, Rachel and a few others go have dinner with this guy for like 2 hours at a regular restaurant in close quarters. Guess what happened the next morning? He got symptoms and tested positive for COVID.
Ooh.
Well, Rachel waited her 2 or 3 days or whatever it is before you can get a test. And whatever that minimum time is, they say you can wait. Tested negative, and she'd had the first shot. That was before she had the second shot. So she said, there's no way that I was not exposed. There's no possible way. I mean, she was sitting 2 feet from him for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
She said, there's no possible way. We were passing the salt. We were passing the, iced tea or whatever. And she said, there's no way. So, that's why she was like really confident that we did the right thing for us.
For sure.
It may not be the right thing for everybody else, but for us, it was the right thing. I did question that after that second shot for a few minutes. And she's like, no, I'll get you a cold rag for your head. But you did the right thing for us. But to me, the frustrating thing here is that we're still talking about not allowing people back into society because they've made a personal decision for themselves. If I have confidence in the vaccines, which, remember, for those of you who are, real hesitant, you may have good reasons. If it's political at all, these were developed under the Trump administration, under Operation Warp Speed. President Biden may be trying to take credit for it, but they were developed under President Trump's administration on this. So if you have confidence in those, you shouldn't be worried at all about someone else being around you if they haven't had the vaccine. I truly don't worry about it at all. And I'm done with masks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, my wife is having surgery next week, and just to show you, like so much of these laws and suggestions, they're not. How many times have we said it? They're not based on science. They're based on, at this point, either a political gain or on just social pressure. Because how many times do you go into a store now, and some stores don't even advertise heavily or monitor that you're wearing masks anymore. I mean, I've gone into Walmart a couple times and just forgotten to put on a mask. But because you're walking around seeing everybody else wearing everything, you're like, oh, I feel bad, even though there's no reason for me to be wearing one, but I feel bad because everybody else is. So socially speaking, I should put one on. And the point I'm making about my wife's surgery, like the hospitals don't even know what to tell you.
Right.
They've told her she's going to have her COVID test tomorrow before her surgery, because that's what you do. Then for roughly a week, we have to quarantine, but we can go to work and school, but we can't go to the grocery store. Like the quarantine rules don't even make sense. And they know they don't make sense. They're just saying, well, this is the way things are right now, so kind of do this.
Your wife has had COVID, correct?
Yeah, we've had it. So we have the antibodies. So we know we're fine, but we still have to get the COVID test and still quarantine. Sort of. Like, yeah, I mean, we can't go to Mother's Day, but we can go to work.
Pathologist Roger Klein, who's the pathologist I talk. He used to be a director at the Cleveland Clinic. He used to be an advisor to the FDA. He used to be an advisor to the CDC back again when it used to have credibility. And he told me, these are his words. He said, natural immunity, those of us who have had it, he said that's superior to vaccinated immunity. He said, but vaccinated immunity is good. And I'm quoting him, not me. Don't take medical advice from me. I have a communications degree, for crying out loud. But he said vaccinated immunity is good. He said, but natural immunity is better. He reviewed all of these, this research on these vaccines, and he got it himself. And so that's kind of what convinced me to go ahead and get it. And so now I'm basically double immune for the time being. Is going to last forever? Probably not. What was your reaction to it? 314-241-9797, or have you made a decision on the vaccine? And just after this real short break here, one of the dumbest COVID-19 virtue signaling moments ever happened this week. And I will tell you about it You definitely want to hear this. It is truly going to be one of the dumbest things you've ever heard in your life. I promise.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Join Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar and lose the weight or stop smoking for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. Because of coronavirus, seminar now online, live Thursday, May 13th or Saturday, May 15th for the St. Louis area. Details at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
My boyfriend proposed with his grandmother's ring. It's stunning, but I just wasn't sure what wedding band would work with it. So we went to Shane Company to look at their huge selection. We knew we'd have a ton of options. The jewelry consultant helping us had a lot of great suggestions. She showed me different wedding bands that would work with my ring. Vintage bands, contour bands, floral bands. She had ideas I hadn't even thought of. I ended up getting 2 decorative diamond bands. They frame my heirloom ring beautifully, and the new bands give it an updated, elegant look with even more sparkle. I love it. My fiancé needed his wedding band too. After looking at all the classic styles like 14 karat gold and platinum, it was actually a band in a unique metal called tantalum that caught his eye. It's rugged and durable and totally fits his style. Shane Company made it so easy and fun for us to shop for our wedding bands. Now we're all set for the big day.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and if you have a painting job that's on your to-do list, don't do it yourself. You're going to do something that's a lot more fun than painting, and you're going to go with CertaPro Painters, and they're going to do a great job. They're going to knock it out of the park. This is for house painting, commercial painting. They do it all. They transform homes and businesses by providing expert services with a proven process. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get started today. A free estimate is just a couple of clicks away. CertaPro.com. That's CertaPro.com. Certa with a C. Get with CertaPro today. Tell them that I sent you over. CertaPro Painters.
What's holding you back from solving your tax problems? If it's cost, know that the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Tax resolution doesn't have to be expensive, and waiting year after year to resolve your tax problems can be extremely costly. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. So take the first step now and hire a tax resolution attorney to help you. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. But the longer you wait, the more interest and penalties you'll pay. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic, mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
This bump music gets a few extra seconds.
I knew that you were gonna love it.
I don't dance, but I do this.
I'm taking a risk
That's right.
on this stream. Could kick us off. Who knows?
All right. I promised maybe the dumbest COVID virtue signaling ever. I promised that before the break. Now the pressure's on for me to deliver this, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's 2:28, by the way. I'm Mike Ferguson in for Annie Frey. Mark Reardon coming our way in about actually, rumor has it Mark Reardon maybe jumping in just a little bit early and joining us here before the end of the hour. Okay, so yesterday, the Vice President, Kamala Harris, is going to Air Force 2 to fly off and do something vice presidentially. And her husband's walking her to the steps of Air Force 2, all very, very normal. They've got their masks on, which, okay, they're outside. They've both been vaccinated very publicly a couple months ago. Okay, whatever, I guess. Well, he goes to give her a kiss goodbye, and they kiss goodbye, both of them still wearing their masks.
No, that's not true. That can't be
Picture that
true.
for us. It happened. I'm telling you. I saw the video. I don't know why you would bother.
What?
Has she been vaccinated? We know Biden has.
Yes,
has
she and I guess it'd be second gentleman, I think is what the term we've settled on. They've both been vaccinated.
And they were walking outside, and instead of just being like, we've been vaccinated and we live in the same household.
Right.
This whole time.
Right.
Let's take off the masks for this opportunity.
Yes.
We can give each other a little smooch.
Right.
And then if we want to, we can put the mask back on and go our merry way.
If you want to continue virtue signaling, you can do that. Yes.
But
they had a cloth kiss.
we have reached Cuckooville.
Look, I think it's worse than that, because I saw this video and I just rolled my eyes because it didn't even look like they were doing it for the cameras. Like the video that I saw was from pretty far away.
Yes, that's when I saw.
Somebody kind of just, on a cell phone. Oh, there's the vice president. They took a video and it looked like they were actually like, it's one thing if they're doing it to posture, and that would be stupid because they would be breaking the CDC rules at this point since they're vaccinated. I mean, they're going above and beyond what the CDC is saying. But this was worse because they weren't even doing it for cameras. They're actually living this life. And it's so insanely dumb after being vaccinated that you would walk around outside, the kiss aside, you're walking around outside fully masked still. Why?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if people realize that when you still say, even if you've been vaccinated, you're supposed to wear masks, even outside. I wonder if for instance, I mean, in this case, it's President Biden, but I'm not picking on him because he's President Biden because of the example that I say, do they realize they're undercutting the confidence in the vaccines that they want everybody to have?
I guess, and my question is, I know people have had some kind of weird answer to this, but like, what is the point of wearing the mask still after you've been fully vaccinated and and it's been 4 weeks? It's been a month since you've been fully vaccinated.
There's none.
What is the actual? What is it? What is it? I'm trying to figure it out. Joy Reid is jogging with 2 masks on and she's fully vaccinated.
Well, that might explain the oxygen deprivation to her brain, but
I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't want to be insensitive because, as we've been saying, if you are fully vaccinated and you want to wear a mask, do your thing, honey. I don't care. It doesn't affect me.
Absolutely.
But I think the reasoning and the rationale are the what I'm trying to get to the root of, and I know people have had weird answers to this question, like Dr. Fauci, but I still don't get it.
Yeah. Well, right. And if the vaccine doesn't protect you, then why are you pushing the vaccine so much? And again, get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. I don't care. And it's not going to stop me from hanging out with you. I'm not scared. It doesn't matter to me. I don't feel any vested interest in whether or not you get a vaccine. That is your decision. You make it. I have no right to tell you yes or no. You don't want to do it? Cool. We're still friends. You don't want to do it? Fine. Cool. We're still friends. It makes no difference to me. You want to wear a mask? Okay, do your thing. You don't want to wear a mask? Okay, great. Do your thing. I don't care. It's just how I look at it at this point. And I wish everybody would stop trying to shame or bully or whatever word you want to put in there embarrass or pressure people into doing something with their life and their face that they don't want to do or may not be right for them.
To answer your question, Mike, does this undermine confidence in the vaccine? And do they know that it does? I think that they do know that it does. And that's one of the reasons that they're doing it, is because these are people who really, really like authority from the top down, especially when they're the ones in authority. And I don't know about you guys, but this just, I never saw it coming. Nobody did. Nobody saw COVID coming, not just as a disease, but the response to it. It worries me that from now on, health issues will be used as a cudgel to just sort of beat the public into submission on anything from here on out.
Yeah, I think I'm afraid that you're right about that, Ryan. And here's the thing is, after going through the case of COVID that I had, and then after getting sick twice with the vaccines, I have earned the right to walk around without a mask. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I have earned this. All right. What was your reaction? Let's start with Marty here. Hey, Marty, you're on the air. What do you think?
Well, I'm 66 years old, and I am totally against the vaccine. One, because of the percentage of people, sad to say, people did die from it, but the rate of people recovering from it is ridiculously high. Why do I need a vaccine? And why do I need a vaccine now that, everybody's getting their vaccine, but I don't want to get a vaccine. So why are you worried about me if you have a vaccine?
That's a fair question. Yeah, I have a vaccine, so I'm not worried about you, Marty. That's why I say you see me at the coffee shop, sit down and let's have a cup of coffee. It'll be in St. Charles, though, not St. Louis County.
Now, my doctor said, you watch, they're going to make it so you can't cross state lines without that card. And I said, well, maybe I should go in the black market making cards.
Well, there's a bar. There's a there's a
I
bar.
know. You guys talked about it already.
Yeah, say there's a bar in California that was willing to hook you up till they got busted. Hey, Marty, appreciate the call there. Let's talk to Rick here before we get to the break. Hey, Rick, you're up next. You're on the air.
Hi, I had the Rona back in April of last year. I was only sick 2 days with it, but it was a confirmed case. I got the shots to go see my elderly mother, and the shots made me sicker. The first shot wasn't bad. The second shot made me sicker than when I had Corona.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple of times. Hey, Rick, appreciate you giving us your experience there. And then I know, for instance, Rachel and I have another friend who got it, and she was sick for like 3 or 4 days. And then I know several other people who got the shot, and absolutely nothing happened other than, gee, my arm's sore where they gave me the shot, which that's normal if you get that for anywhere. So it's a very individual, personal thing, the reaction to it is. But Marty's point, the one point that he made that I really agreed with, if you're convinced that the vaccines are good or your immunity is good after having it, why are you scared of anybody else? I agree. Totally agree.
Do you guys know people that I've mentioned this before? Do you guys know people, whether it be family, friends, inner circle, whomever, that are still really, really afraid to be in even small groups, that are afraid to just, go to even the grocery store, get gas? I know people like
know people like that. I really do. And I feel partly sorry for them. Because I'm trying to be empathetic, and this is a weakness of mine because I'm not naturally that empathetic to people because I've had it. I know what this thing can do. But at the same time, I have to fight back my reaction to be a little mad at them. And that's not my right to be mad at them. I don't have a right to be mad at them. That's wrong for me to feel that way. So I've got to fight back, but I just want to shake them and go, stop being scared. Do something about it. If you're that scared, go get a vaccine. If you're afraid of that, then, stop demanding everybody else cater to your fear. But at some point, we've got to recognize that viruses run their courses. You don't have to be a doctor to know that. A virus runs its course, and this, when you look at the actual data, this is basically run its course. It's still there. It's probably always going to be there. You can catch the flu when it's not flu season. It's going to be there. But the collateral damage in mental health and education and economy and livelihoods and entrepreneurship and spirituality and personal connections, the collateral damage has been massive, just massive. That's going to take us for just such a long time to recover from, if we ever do.
Yeah, I have a family member, Katie, who struggled with distant family, not somebody in my immediate family, but struggle with anxiety before all this. And we've all, we all know somebody, if it's not you, who struggle with anxiety, and then this thing hit, and man, at the beginning, you were afraid. I was not, because I've said before, like, I just don't have that issue. I got my own issues. Everybody got their own issues. Anxiety is not one of them. But if you did have anxiety, or you do, man, this has been one of the worst years of your life, because not just because of having to stay inside, but because you're staying inside because you are afraid of everything. Even if your brain rationally is telling you this is not everything that they're telling me it is, man, the popular narrative that's being fed to you is the exact opposite of what the logic would tell you a lot of times. And so you're having this emotional versus logic battle if you're already dealing with anxiety. And it's just bad. And you'd hope it'd be done by now. You thought the vaccine would be it, yet
that's what
here we are.
I thought that.
Yep. 314-241-9797. And I was absolutely more understanding about a year ago, because I was, I was finished recovering not about a year ago. I was sick for 5 weeks with this thing. And so, I was much more understanding then. At this point, I'm more angry and more frustrated with the government reaction and our continued insistence on living in fear and making fear-based decisions than I am of the virus itself. So anyway, a lot of people have some thoughts on this. We're going to get to as many of your calls as we can when we get back. And we're going to be joined by the one and only Mark Reardon as well. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie Frey here on 97.1 FM Talk.
That is...
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your air conditioner ready for the summer heat with a maintenance agreement from Air Comfort Service. Monthly maintenance plans start at only $15 per month. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Spring is a great time to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with new windows. Mark Cox here from my friends at Window World. I'm a satisfied customer. You will be too. Call them today for a free home estimate. They'll show you why they are simply the best for less. Window World windows are so durable. They stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts and glass breakage and labor. They were ranked #1 in windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine, and they're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. Window World does great work, as they did in my home when they replaced 2 large bathroom windows. They measured them, they built them, and got them installed in no time. You will love working with my friends over at Window World. They're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 314-993-1800, 993-1800, or windowworld.com.
Cassens Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, located in the Edwardsville, Glen Carbon area. Make sure that you check them out right now online at cassenscan.com, because they've got employee pricing, and this is an amazing opportunity for you to save on your vehicle purchase. Now, I have had an amazing experience multiple times buying vehicles at Cassens. I have family, relatives that have purchased at Cassens long before I was ever even on the radio, who have known that they go back to Cassens to get their next vehicle because they trust Cassens. When you work with the people at Cassens, I'm looking at Cliff, a review here about Cliff, a review about Holly. I'm looking at reviews about Tony and Mike, all of these individuals, and the rest of the team there, they, from the top to the bottom, are committed to making sure that your experience is an absolutely positive one, because they want to earn your business back each and every time. When you have an employee pricing sales event and you combine it with the amazing customer sales experience that you get at Cassens, you will be buying your multiple vehicles from Cassens as well, I promise. Visit them online to find out more at cassenscan.com.
This month, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned by Zero Res starting at just $129. Call 314-474-2020. Also get $50 off their air duct cleaning packages. Say you want the Mark Reardon KFTK special. 314-474-2020. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning. 2020 was a challenging year, but things are looking up, including the stock market's performance. But will it last? Hi, I'm Ken Murray, Senior Advisor at Retirement Planners of America. If you are 50 or older, call us today to schedule a free consultation to learn more about our Invest and Protect strategy that is designed to help mitigate the risk of the stock market. Call us today at 800-375-1159 to schedule your free assessment. That's 800-375-1159.
Del Walmsley here. The first thing you're going to have to learn is until you stop expecting politicians or anyone else to change your life isn't going to change. The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
You could be on your way to a better lifestyle and experience the life of your dreams. Tune in to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Weekdays from 6 to 7. Catch the Dave Glover Show on 97.1. It's the best of each day, boiled down to 1 hour. The DGS Highlight Hour, every weekday at 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away.
Perfect. Never go wrong with Otis Redding.
I'm trying to do a mix. I know the music you like, Mike. It's just hard to play it. But I know.
All right, it's 2:45. I'm Mike Ferguson, in for Annie Frey, obviously. Mark Reardon going to be joining us here any minute now. A lot of people have some thoughts on the entire vaccine, the reactions that people have had to it, the rules, I just think, I think, obviously I'm biased because it's my perspective and I think I'm right, is that people do what they want. Stop being scared, especially those of us who have received the vaccine, especially those of us who have already recovered. Just let people do their lives. I mean, that's, I don't, if you get a vaccine, great. If you don't, great. It just doesn't affect me. And I am not going to keep my distance from you because you choose what's right for you medically. Because I got the vaccine doesn't mean that you have to. I'm not arguing that you should do it. I'm not arguing you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying do what's right for you. And I believe I've got myself in the best position for my health that I can do. And that's all I can worry about. All right. Let's see here. Who do we, let's see here. What do we think? Let's start with, I think Linda here. Let's talk to Linda. Hey, Linda, you're up first. You're on the air.
Hi.
Yes.
I just want to point out this isn't the first time in my living memory that the government has hauled out a vaccine and the public lined up for hours to get it. And that was polio. When I was a kid and the Salk vaccine came out, I was about 9, and the whole towns turned out. And they were giving it at the public library. And it wasn't one shot. It was at least 2, and it might have been 3. And we were there to get it. And why? Because people were terrified of polio. And kids were living in iron lungs and dying from it. I had an uncle who was a 5th grade teacher. And the Salk vaccine came out, and he told his kids, this was on a Friday, he said, go home this weekend and tell your parents you need to get this shot. And he went home that weekend, got what he thought was the flu, and lived the rest of his life in an iron lung. he had polio.
Oh,
Grown-ups were getting it too. And back then, ask an older person. The reason why a lot of people, especially like in New York and some of the bigger cities on the East Coast, why they left the city in the summer, it wasn't the heat, it was polio. They were afraid of the heat and the mugginess and the bugs giving them polio. And they thought if they went to the country and kept their kids out in the fresh air, they wouldn't get it because there was no cure and no vaccine. So this isn't the first time, people, and it isn't bad.
Yeah, this
when
isn't
was
gonna
the
be-
last time you heard of somebody having polio?
Yeah, this isn't going to be the last new virus that comes around either as well, Linda.
Exactly.
Yeah, appreciate the
And
call.
I-
I'm going to try to get some other viewpoints on here real quick. I remember as a kid meeting some older folks who were polio victims as children, and a lot of them had a terrible limp because of the way it affected. And I don't know if you knew anybody like that, but there frankly aren't a lot of those folks still around. But I remember meeting a number of people when I was a little kid. This would have been back in the 70s and early 80s that had it as a child, and they were senior citizens by then. And it wasn't uncommon to meet somebody who had polio as a kid.
Yeah, my aunt who's gone now had it when she was a kid, and she got the vaccine right as she had acquired it, I think.
Yeah,
and it had made her right arm start to go numb, so she was left-handed for the rest of her life. We called her Lefty, Aunt Lefty.
Wow. All right, let's see here. Let's talk to Don. Hey, Don, you're up next. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Hey, I'm an essential employee, I guess, and I work at a manufacturer. So we have not missed one single day since this whole mess started. And we work in questionable sanitary conditions, and not a lot of masks and not this and that. And I just believe that it's not nearly as bad as they made it out. I believe that the media has controlled a lot of this fear and all this other garbage that's now escalating, in my opinion. And, I kind of like your opinion on this. It's, a lot of people are in fear, but there's no reason that I have to get a vaccine or that you can get one. You should be protected against me if I choose not to get one. And if I want to take my chances getting COVID, then that's up to me, And I believe that our society and our new administration is going to take us down this road of these vaccine passports and all this monitoring you and making sure you're doing what you're doing and forcing all this stuff onto the population.
Well, and that's where we started, Don. Appreciate you being on the show. Is the unintended consequences that come with government that overreacts or simply goes too far. And again, I chose to get the vaccines. The second one knocked me for a loop for a little bit. And, I still think, with my wife and I talking about it, Mark, I don't know if you were listening earlier, we made the decision that was right for us. If somebody else says it's not right for them, okay.
Yeah, well, first of all, the second shot kicked my ass too.
Oh,
We
man.
talked about that yesterday, but or 2 days ago, I think. I'm losing track of time. Here's what I would say to that caller. And I understand the perspective about not wanting to get vaccinated, but the government's not likely, I don't think, not likely to come in with a vaccine passport. That doesn't mean the airlines won't, or the clubs won't, or when I say clubs, I'm not like going out disco or anything like that. I'm like the pageant and stuff
Ain't
like that.
no party like a COVID party.
He has to be ready, because here's where I am.
Yeah.
I'm double vaxxed, dude.
Yeah.
I'm putting my card on my forehead and I'm living my life. Okay. So for the people who don't want to get vaccinated, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to do some of those things. And that's your choice. But you have to recognize that your choice is going to result in you not being able to do some of the things that you want to do that the rest of us who are vaccinated can do, because businesses can require you to be vaccinated. And that's just going to be the way things are for a while. And so I hope the non-vaccinated know that.
And there's a market cost for them for that as well. If they say, we want to see your documentation, I mean, it's their private property. I guess they can ask for that, but there may be people who say, well, I'm not going to do business there. So
I'm not super crazy about it, just because I think you could have, and I think that the experts would make a case in some circumstances for the vaccinated and the unvaccinated to be together, depending on herd immunity. But you're going to have businesses that are going to be very, very careful when it comes to how they move forward. Did you hear what they did in New York with the Mets? They're talking about, I was going to get this yesterday. They're talking about splitting the stands, unvaccinated on one side, vaccinated on the other.
Wow.
That's interesting, isn't it? So maybe you're going to see creativity like that.
Wow.
I think what
really
bothers me,
surprises
Mark,
me.
what bothers me about that, because we were talking about this a little bit earlier, is that we have these camps now, like you said, the Mets, vaccinated, unvaccinated. What about all of the people in the middle, like Katie and I, who've had COVID? We have the antibodies, but we haven't been vaccinated. So we should have what are the rights for those people?
That's a tough middle ground there. I mean, I don't know the answer because we still don't know how long the antibodies last. So I don't know what the question would be or the answer would be.
It's a fair question.
It is a fair question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So do we get to a point where if you have the antibodies, you can prove that you have the antibodies? I don't think the antibodies are going to last as long as the shot, though. Or if they did, you guys had it last year. Mike, you had it.
Yeah, about this time last year, I was finishing up my recovery for it. And with the case that I had, apparently I still have confirmed antibodies now. And how long they last, I don't know. One of the reasons that I got sick from both shots, I am told by some medical people, is at least in part, because my antibodies are so active. So there you go. They said, basically, that's really a good sign that you got that sick. I'm like, man, it didn't feel like a good sign.
Which shot did you get?
Pfizer.
So I got the Moderna shot, and that I was fine at the first one. The second one, not fine.
And my wife gets it.
Not fine.
She has basically no reaction to either one. Nothing.
I've heard a lot of that as well.
Yep.
I just don't know. I understand that caller's perspective. I get that people are going to be very hesitant, especially if the government gets involved. But the government's going to be different than airlines and some of these other places out there that may or may not require vaccines. You know, I want to go to Europe and the airline's going to say that you have to have the vaccine. I'm going to say I have it.
Yeah.
And I'm going.
And I'm going.
Let me ask you this, with you having received a vaccine, like I have, and would it bother you if somebody who had not sits next to you on the plane or the bus or anywhere else at the ball game?
Me? No.
Yeah. That's the way I look at it. I don't care.
Right. But that doesn't matter because what I would be bothered by, though, is not allowing people to kind of move forward. Look, Fauci said yesterday we're in the bottom of the sixth. We're only in the bottom of the sixth if it's a 7-inning doubleheader. All right. It's go time in this country. It is completely go time right now. It's safe. You don't wear masks outside. It's idiotic. The kids shouldn't have masks on. This whole notion that the kids are going to have masks during summer camp is utterly ridiculous. And you're even seeing some people, teensy tiny little people in the mainstream media, kind of revolting on that because they have kids and they know how stupid it is.
Even Savannah Guthrie pushed back.
I know. I talked about it. I played the
Fauci.
audio yesterday.
And you've got a pretty cool thing coming up tomorrow.
We're going to Sugar Fire. I was like, we do?
Yes,
yeah,
we do.
Yes,
it's a live broadcast.
Sugar Fire live
Yes.
broadcast tomorrow, 3 to 6. We're doing the roundtable out there. Sugar
Exciting.
Fire in Wentzville.
Nice.
Come out and see us. The whole crew's going to be out there. It's going to
So
be fun.
cool.
Yeah. Some of us will be vaccinated. Some of us will not be vaccinated.
Are you guys
And
excited?
we're not wearing any damn masks. I'll tell you that right now. I'm excited.
It's the first live broadcast, right, since COVID. And being on 97.1.
That is significant because it's
Very
the first live broadcast I've probably done in a year and a half. Because if I'd have to think about it, the last one I would have done over there would have been the fall of 2019. We didn't really do any in the winter. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I think we have good weather tomorrow too.
It is absolutely go time. It is time to say we're reclaiming our lives. It's been long enough. We've got the tools. We can make the choices for ourselves. Go.
I'm with you. Absolutely. Bottom of the ninth. Let's say that. Bottom of the ninth. 2 outs. Maybe even 2 outs. Okay.
And maybe Albert Pujols is up to bat for us. Who knows?
Oh, by the way, Kevin Wheeler's coming in here in just a little bit to talk about that. There are a lot of fans clamoring for Albert to come back. I love Albert, but that's not probably going to happen, nor should it. Okay. We'll talk with Kevin coming up.
The one and only Mark Reardon, everybody. All right, Ryan, Katie, been a blast. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Mike.
I really appreciate all the phone calls and the messages. Been a lot of fun. Hopefully Annie's back in tomorrow, but we'll see what happens.
No, when you're pregnant, you never know.
Yep, exactly. I can't say I know, but I know what you mean.
What's it like, Mike?
Neither can I.
Right. Have a great one, everybody.
What's it like, Katie?
Rock and roll, turn up the band, find the hole, gonna lose control tonight. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart, so beat the drum with me. I'm not America's sweetheart.
Small business startups are on the rise. Are you one? Hear this. You can get expert advice on starting a small business